Prosy Car Care.
Hey, it's Cordy Rush. Now more than ever, nonprofits need our support. Gulf Coast Bank is hosting an online auction where 100% of the proceeds go to nonprofits. Auctions in August offer items such as fine dining, sports memorabilia, and gift baskets. To bid, visit auctionsinaugust.com. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you and our community.
If you've been injured, it doesn't matter if you were hit by a big truck, a smart car, or anything in between. I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 21-12671. Offices in Baton Rouge.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. on Friday, August 25th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 102. Coming up on OTB, Ross Jackson of the Locked On Saints podcast joins the show to talk Saints at 8:30. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number one of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert. Yeah! Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome in. Friday, August 25th, 2023. It's time for a brand new Off the Bench. I'm your host, T-Bob Hebert. Jake Hester will be joining us in hour number two, taking the kiddos to school, being a good father. We do have Mario Perez and Taylor Sharp hanging out this year today, and we got a good show planned today. We're going to talk to Ross Jackson at 8:30. No Rivers today, but hour three will be, just as weird and final hour of the work week as it always is. No tier list today, though we will be releasing our football movie tier list, so be on the lookout for that. Here in hour one, what I want to do, and especially in this first segment, we're going to dive into Florida State. We kind of talked about it yesterday, right? We're talking about Florida State, and the question was, we've heard of Jared Verse, but outside of that, what is Florida State bringing to bear? We've heard of some of these players. Well, I dove into some sources, and there's still much more research to be done as we close in on this game, right? But, I mainly relied on PFF here on day one of the journey, and at least in PFF's mind, what you're going to see is, take this Florida State team lightly at your own risk because they look – is that an eye roll? Did you roll your eyes? You were looking at? Okay. I'm just saying. Okay, I was making sure because, we'll get into it. Before that, though, boys, how are we feeling today, Mario? How you doing?
Feeling good, man. Ready for the weekend.
Hell yeah. What about you, Taylor? What's up?
Man, I'm doing good.
Yeah? Okay, just straight up solid.
Hey, how are you,
Doing
T-Bob?
well? Oh, thank you, Mario. So kind. I'm doing well as well, I suppose. I'm excited to get to play more Baldur's Gate 1 tonight when, I finally am not driving somewhere, going to the lake or Monroe or anything. I guess I'm going to Monroe tomorrow. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's dive into it, though. So, again, we talked about it yesterday, right? How good is this Florida State team? Because the more I start to read, the more I start to look at it, the more worried I become. All of this, obviously, was exacerbated by the Mason Smith news. Right? Nobody wants to lose a top three player on their roster before, arguably the most important game of the season. And you say, T-Bob, it's not conference and all that. I know that. But in Florida State and LSU, you have two teams with championship aspirations. And championship aspirations do something interesting, guys, where they don't allow for mistakes, right? For many teams, for 95% of teams in the country, losing the opening game is not a death sentence, especially if you lose it against a quality opponent. Look at Notre Dame last year. Nobody was upset with Notre Dame losing to Ohio State 20-14. Then again, Notre Dame did not really have championship aspirations. If you're FSU, you're LSU, you want to win your conference. You think you're supposed to be in the playoff. If that's the case, then what is acceptable, that margin of error is basically nil. Whoever loses this game will not make the playoffs. Barring something miraculous where you run the table and end up with only one loss, if you lose this opening game, you are not going to make the playoffs. That's what's on the line. And what's kind of interesting, it comes at a time where this is probably the last year where that's the case, right? Because once you have a 12-team playoff, the championship expectation margin for error expands greatly. You just have to be in that 12. For now, you got to be in that 4. And nobody with 2 losses ever found their way to that 4. And if you lose this one, you got to be perfect the rest of the way, which feels unrealistic for both of these teams' schedules. Maybe less so for that of Florida State. So that is to say that I've already been a bit more concerned. And, we look at a lot of PFF on this show. It's not to say that PFF is the end-all be-all. It's rather to say that they do a good job of range finding, right? Like you can quibble with grades. You can say, oh, I think he should have been an 80, not a 75, or I think this or that. But at the end of the day, you're really essentially saying the same thing. So let's look at what Pro Football Focus thinks about these Florida State Seminoles. And this is where it gets pretty impressive. So they had an award predictions article, which is where I started. And who do they predict to win the Heisman in the Maxwell? Jordan Travis. They point out that when you look at Jordan Travis, only Caleb Williams graded higher than him last year in the quarterback position amongst all college quarterbacks. Jordan Travis was the only quarterback in the country who placed top 15 in both big-time throw rate and turnover play rate. Now, that said, I want to say Jaden Daniels led the country in turnover-worthy play rate, which is good, protecting the ball. Jordan Travis does as well. And Jaden Daniels led the country for quarterbacks in rushing, right? So, don't get me wrong. Daniels has his own advantages as well, but this is just more to the kind of case that we've been building with evidence that Jordan Travis is elite. And here's something to think about, because I'm a firm believer in Jaden Daniels and the potential growth for all the reasons we said. The more stable environment, the returning coaches, the returning weapons, another year on task. You go from a 10-10 ratio to 17-3 last year. All of these reasons, I think Jaden Daniels is poised to take a great leap. Where it gets a bit concerning, Jordan Travis has all of these same reasons for improvement, right? The returning coaches, the returning players, the top-tier weapons, the top-tier offensive line, all of the same reasons to get way better, all the experience as well. But was better to begin with as well, right? So a better foundation upon which he is building becomes, you can see why he could be picked to potentially win the Heisman. So then you look at, okay, what's the next major award? You've been Bednarik and Unigurski, right? Your best defensive player in the country. Who does Pro Football have winning this? Jared Verse, Florida State edge defender, who would have been a top 20 pick in the 2023 draft had he come out. Do you know how rare it is for a top 20 pick to come back? So not only do you have a guy with supreme NFL talent, but you have one of those guys that apparently wants to win because he chose to come back to FSU and play another year of college football instead of going and making millions of dollars. And sure, I'm sure he's making some NIL money, but he's not making what he would have made as a top 20 pick in the NFL. And he's risking injury. He's putting another year on his body. Why? Because he wants to win. That's a dangerous combination. As far as his numbers, last year, he was second in the entire Power 5 amongst edge defenders when it came to pass rush win rate, 22.4% of the time, which is very hard to do, obviously, right? It's second in the entire country. Also to note, speaking of reasons for improvement, this was, and maybe this is why he comes back, because I think he could be a top 5 pick. That was Jared Verse's first FBS season. He came from Albany, okay? So in Jared Verse, again, make no mistake, you have a pretty good mirror of Jordan Travis in terms of a singular great player that is going to potentially win awards at the end of the season. I will say this. We know how good Will Campbell's been during this camp. Will Campbell wants to make a lot of money. You want to get the best possible pro tape you could out there, Emory Jones, whoever, you play well against Jared Verse. Well, hey, that's how you end up accomplishing your NFL dreams one day. So then you go down to Coach of the Year, where, once again, no surprise here, they have Mike Norvell winning Coach of the Year, as Pro Football Focus predicts FSU will end in the playoff. And here's where I stumbled upon another interesting nugget. Here's a quote from the Norvell piece. On his team, Norvell has my pick to win the Heisman, my pick to be college football's best defender, the top running back in the 2024 NFL Draft, a top 5 receiving core, a top 10 offensive line, a top 5 defensive line, and a top 10 secondary. Well, obviously all of these things bear research as well, right? So then we jump to that running back, and you find Trey Benson, who, don't look now, the running back, Trey Benson, finished 2022 with a 91.3 rushing grade. He had 0.51 missed tackles forced per attempt. 0.51 missed tackles forced per attempt. You're like, T-Bob, what does that mean? I don't know what the hell that means. Okay, allow me to contextualize it. That's the highest number PFF's ever recorded in a decade of doing this. So you are talking about someone who is Pro Football Focus's highest rated running back in the draft, who was more elusive as a true freshman than any running back in the past decade. Granted, maybe with a little less touches, around 100-something rushes, but still, Trey Benson not to be trifled with. And then we think about LSU's receivers being a strength, correct? Okay, well, PFF's top 10 receiver rankings in the entire country. Where does LSU rank? 8th. Where does Florida State rank? 5th. And it's all the reasons we told you about. Johnny Wilson, you already know about him. You remember from last year. Dude is a monster. But then they bring in Keon Coleman from Michigan State. They bring in Jaheim Bell from South Carolina, the tight end, who averaged 2.6 yards per route. Contextualized, second only in the country to Brock Bowers. We talked about the slot receiver coming over from West Virginia. Didn't get to play because of a car accident last year, but was WVU's top receiver and one of the best receivers in the entire Big 12. Winston Wright Jr. is who you're talking about there. So you combine those weapons with Benson and Travis, and you see why we maybe talked about shootouts, right? What about offensive line? Like, you can't be good. None of this matters if you have a bad offensive line. Well, Florida State checks in the top 10 there also. Although I will say this, LSU checks in 8th. And in most of these groups, Florida State and LSU both find themselves in the top 10, which is one of the reasons why this is easily the most exciting matchup we've seen since LSU-Oregon in 2011, and arguably even more exciting than that matchup. But when you look at the offensive line, they returned 3 starters. They're going to be seniors from a very good offensive line last year, including your left tackle and your center, 2 uber important positions. And then, like every other position group on this team, they just added really good transfers. And I don't know that you necessarily care to get too much into the nitty-gritty here, but like, I guess it's like an example, right? So they add Jeremiah Bryers, a cat from UTEP. One of only 5 FBS tackles to earn top 20 grades, both as a pass blocker and a run blocker, right? He's going to start at right tackle. They get a Colorado guard who had the best pressure rate allowed in terms of pass protection in the Pac-12 last year. So, again, a very good Florida State offensive line being brought to bear. Well, what about D-line, though, right? LSU, Mekhi Wingo, Mason Smith. LSU ranks 6th in the country. Where does FSU check in? 5th in the country. We mentioned Jared Verse returning, which is kind of insane. And then it's a bit like the offensive line. Just adding very good transfers I don't know, like, look, here we go. Like, you add Miami's Darrell Jackson, right? You add Western Michigan's Braden Fisk. Fisk's 81 pressures the last 2 seasons are tied for 5th among all defensive tackles in the country. His 47 run defense stops tied for 3rd. Darrell Jackson, like we said, had 16 stops as a true sophomore last year, was tied for 5th in the ACC. The point is, Florida State was already upperclassmen laden everywhere, a ton of returning production, and anywhere they were weak, they brought in solid starters and defenders, and then they have the superstars in your Johnny Wilson, Benson, Verse, Jordan Travis. And then what about secondary? right? Because they all sit top 10 secondary. And speaking of superstars, they get Virginia transfer cornerback Fintrell Cypress II, who's on PFF's top 10 corners in the entire country list. And so Florida State checks in at 8th in terms of secondary. And, of course, LSU nowhere to be found on this list. So, and on Cypress here, I mean, just to kind of, I guess, give him his bona fides, he was 5th among Power 5 quarterbacks in yards allowed per coverage snap. And, again, thought to be a top 10 cornerback in the entire country. So, as you see, I do not point this out to be doom and gloom, right? But like, what does Sun Tzu say, right? Know thy enemy as thyself. Like, if you don't acknowledge the talent this team is bringing to bear, if you don't acknowledge how good they are, you are going to get your ass kicked. You're going to get bit in the ass. And there's also something great that comes from acknowledging the power of Florida State, because on the off chance that LSU does kick their ass, right? Like, let's say the Tigers, without Mason Smith, somehow go out there and just handle business. Win comfortably, or maybe even just like win by 10 or something. You should be very excited about that team, because this is not a fluky Florida State team. This is not a fluky win. I mean, I'll take a fluky win. Like, I'll take whatever win you can get here in game 1. But my point is, if LSU looks competent and dominant and beats Florida State badly, well, then you can feel very good about truly having a national title contender on your hands, right? And that's what this all comes down to, is we're going to find out the truth of one team or another. Now, you have to allow for growth. Like, for whatever reason, maybe you don't have a week 1 and you lose, and by the end of the year you look like a title contender, but you probably won't be one because of the loss. So everything on the line a week from Sunday. Cannot wait. And you could not get a better, 2 Heisman candidate quarterbacks going at it, 2 top 10 offensive lines, 2 top 10 defensive lines, 2 top 10 wide receiver groups, all over the place. Running back and secondary would appear to be major advantages for Florida State, but all over the place, just talent, NFL talent, good football, week 1. Drop your nuts. It's time to fight. Cannot wait. But respect this Florida State team is all I'm saying. And we will cross-reference this, right? Because all this is single source. This is all PFF. Now, granted, Phil Steele yesterday had them second in the ACC in all these categories, so that would seem to support one another. But we'll cross-reference it, and we'll give you maybe like if you're Olympic score, you throw out the highest scores and the lowest. We'll give you maybe some of the detractors as well. But here on this Friday, just recognize the fight you're about to get into, show respect for the fight, and then go kick ass, okay? Look, when we get back here, I want to get to your comments. You get at youtube.com/1045ESPN. Tell me where I'm wrong, if you agree, what are you worried about, what do you think the keys are? And then I also want to remind you to go to Agtemp of Baton Rouge, agtempbr.com. I don't know, guys. It felt kind of good the last couple of days. But the point is, you never quite know where it's going to go temperature-wise. And at Agtemp, they make sure that your AC, heating, any of your electrical systems remain good to go. And they have a saying, service to the highest degree. The thing is, it's not just lip service. They walk that walk. Go look at the online reviews, guys. We're talking a 4.9 with thousands of ratings. The internet loves Agtemp, and the internet doesn't love anything. We'll talk Tiger droppings later today. I bet you even Tiger droppings loves Agtemp of Baton Rouge, which is saying something. Ask about the Star Club membership when you get in touch with them. Agtemp Baton Rouge, agtempbr.com. More OTB next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Henniger, join us for the Friday edition of Live at Lunch from Ruffino's on Highland Road. Troy Macker and Bruce Marshall with us, and we're ready for Week 0. Football is finally here. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Sacharelli says, football tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Some love eye emojis. I know, man. I can't wait. Going to be so nice. Just smash beers with actual football on television. Just drinking delicious Coors Light. Riding the silver bullet. My Rivers says Florida State did well in the transfer portal. If Norvell can integrate those guys into a team, returning a lot of starters, they will be a playoff contender. Travis has better targets. It is interesting. Okay, so wide receiver we can call a wash, though you heard me yesterday, right? Like, I think LSU's receiver room post-2019 has been a lot of talk, without necessarily the most statistical output or backup. Like, I think LSU's receiver room has to step up this year, and a lot of that's going to go back to Jaden Daniels, obviously. But like, I'm very comfortable calling the wide receiver room a wash, even with both. I think because of Travis Benson, they get the clear advantage at running back, and Jaheim Bell and Mason Taylor is something that's more close, right? I think, I don't know. I think that some would say Jaheim Bell, but again, I'll say that's a wash. So in terms of overall weapons, it is Benson that maybe would push the advantage to Florida State, and that's where this LSU running back room, somebody has to step up. Who is that going to be, right? The running back by committee is Josh Williams, who's very good last year. Well, what's the latest on John Emery? I feel like I haven't heard anything from him forever. He's back in the practice field, right, or no?
Yeah, he's just kind of down on the depth chart. I mean, you got to think he was out of practice for basically all of spring, all of summer, and beginning of fall. I mean, he's just a little ways down. And then Kelly said the other day that Logan Diggs, Josh Williams, Armani Goodwin, his guys are back at practice. So it's just going to be a little tough sledding for him at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, Caleb Jackson making waves too. So that's what I'd heard too. He's just kind of behind at the moment.
Dan Basham asked the chat, tomatoes or no tomatoes in your jambalaya? I don't prefer tomatoes in my jambalaya or my gumbo. I've had okay tastings that have had, them in them, but that's not necessarily my favorite style. And then Real Edo asked to dust crawfish or to not. This is where people get mad at me. I don't care. I'll go either one. I've had really good dusted crawfish. I've had really good undusted crawfish, but everybody seems to get very furious when you say that if you're not from Lafayette, where that's how they seem to do it. Perkins for Heisman says the only position group I'm worried about is defensive backs. Yeah, I mean, that is the problem, right? Because as we just ran down that list, like running back, they have an advantage, but it's LSU running backs. I feel pretty good that they'll be okay, even if they don't have a singular star like that of Trey Benson. But when you look at receivers, again, wash. Offensive line, we can call it a wash. Defensive line, we can call it a wash. It is the secondary where you see the biggest difference between the two teams. As we said, Florida State bringing in a transfer who's considered to be a top 10 quarterback in the entire country. You brought in a transfer who, in Denver Harris, who seemingly continues to struggle with things off the field and is buried on the depth chart. You bring in a transfer from Ohio State, and J.K. Johnson, who you thought was going to be very good, he gets hurt. He's not available. Now, I like Andre Sam, but that's a safety position, right? So, yeah, that's the big concern, man. Can this secondary keep up with the elite weapons of Florida State? And if they can't, then, and this is how you're going to, like, okay, LSU wide receiver room, okay, Jaden Daniels, offensive line, like, you want to prove that y'all are as badass as y'all are supposed to be? Can you keep up if this thing turns into a track meet, right? Even though Florida State has a bigger advantage over your secondary than you do over theirs, can you overcome that disparity and still find a way to win the game if it turns into a track meet? And look, if you want to be full hopeful, like, maybe the corners are way better than we think. Maybe Ashton Stamps comes out and he bursts onto the scene like we've seen guys do in the past, a la Pat Pia. Pat Pia was a big recruit, so that probably doesn't play. But like a Tyrann Mathieu or something, right? Which, again, hoping for an outlier shooting star like Tyrann Mathieu is not exactly where you want to be. But the point is, like, somebody's going to have to step up and surprise you in ways that we're not giving credit for them right now. And you're going to learn a lot, man. I mean, look at last year. We kind of talked about it. The Florida State game was completely the team that you fielded against Florida State was completely different than the one you fielded just a couple of weeks later. Spencer P., this is Emory's year. Abraham Lincoln. Okay, yeah.
Facts.
I get it. Shane Floyd, are you and Scone doing whiskey and wine this year? Of course. Don Juan Cigar Bar, baby. You already know. Come hang out, get weird, get drunk, have fun. Oh, man, it'll be lit if we win. It's always sad when you lose, but if you win next Sunday, Don Juan's going to be the place to be. Also, many people, little housekeeping here, many people ask about Scone and Tea. Scone and Tea will be returning on Monday. We're going to do it live from the studio. Shout out Oliver Twist. Had a very good partnership for a year. That is now up. In fact, if anybody wants us out there, hit us up. But We're going to do it live from the studio right after OTB, sometime after that. So be on the lookout for it Monday mornings. We'll obviously preview FSU, recap week 0, and then the idea is going to be mainly a recapping of the game and then a slight preview into the next one during this next season. So it will be back on Monday. What is this? Mario acting like resorting to cannibalism is a bad thing?
I'm making a joke playing off of the Emory thing. I've been saying the last couple of weeks that supplies on Emory Island are running low. So now I said the people still alive on Emory Island are about to have to resort to cannibalism.
Okay, I actually love that, Mario. That's a very good analogy. Excellent work.
I mean, he showed me something last year. I get the situation, but I thought he could play a role in this team. Maybe not.
Bilbo says, T-Bob, what time are we talking Tiger droppings? I'll inform Tiger Rant for more views. Let's touch on it next. Maybe get to a little bit of the smoke in the street on the droppings. And I do have some more Mason Smith thoughts that I think I want to clarify, as well as I've continued to think about the NCAA and how we arrived at where we're at. We still got Saints talk coming up as well. Obviously, Saints-Texan preseason game going down on Sunday. And we're going to have Ross Jackson coming up at 8:30 to join us. So keep it locked right here on OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552, CentralPlumbing.org. Plumb it yourself if you want. You can actually buy all the supplies in the Central Plumbing showroom. But I once again tried to fix something on a toilet the other day, and now my wife is furious at me and is telling me I made it worse. And so we'll finally break it down and just call Central Plumbing as well. Okay, so again, I continue like an idiot kid burning his hand on the stove. I continue to try to do plumbing stuff only to realize I have no idea what I'm doing. You know who does? Central Plumbing. With 50 years of experience, the flat rate pricing, the excellent warranty coverage, like the Payne family can provide you and your family with whatever you need. But it's not just problems, though. Again, when something breaks down, 925-8552, CentralPlumbing.org, don't think twice about it. But it's not just problems. Maybe you want to remodel your bathroom, been thinking about it for a while, get that bathroom of your dreams. Maybe you want something like a tankless water heater so you never run out of hot water again. It's all there for you at CentralPlumbing.org, CentralPlumbing.org.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, in Baton Rouge. I've read what you put me on through. Gotta send my love
is a taco more than just a taco when it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Voisin, inviting you to join me, Coach Todd Black and Coach Jimmy Roy, as we kick off the 2023 Prep football season with a Jamboree edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard presented by Lake Urgent Care. Friday night from 10 to midnight, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Ooh, I like this question. T-Bob, will Oklahoma fire Brent Venables by the end of the season? I'll get there in a little bit. We are going to do some kind of general college football talk as well. Saints Talk in hour number 2. But first, the reason why I teased Tiger droppings there, Taylor, is when I saw you this morning, you informed me about the new hot topic or rumor on these TD streets. What's the latest?
Oh, yeah, it's a good one. So we all know about the Mason Smith suspension and everything.
Yes.
And somebody had brought up, I've seen it a couple places. It's been on social media a lot as well. And it was Stan Wilcox.
Who is Stan Wilcox?
He is the executive vice president of the NCAA regulatory committee. So he controls things like transfers, eligibility, discipline, all that sort of things. Like that's just all under one big umbrella, if you will. So Stan Wilcox has been in that position since 2018. But before that, he was the athletic director at Florida State.
Oh, wow.
And guess where he went to college, T-Bob?
Where?
Notre Dame, who hates Brian Kelly.
Wow.
What do you think of that one?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think it's pretty simple math. So, Stan wants Florida State to win, doesn't like Brian Kelly, and so he made sure that LSU could not choose when to serve the suspension, right?
That was my thought.
Unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable. It's so hard to just walk around being so persecuted in this life with all of this just cruel, cruel world conspiracizing against you, trying to make you fall, to make you fail.
Don't forget the Illuminati.
Yeah, I mean, hell, Stan's probably a part of that as well, Mario. I mean, with your metric for getting in the Illuminati, Florida State AD probably gets you in. I mean, I tend to think I want my secret societies to be more exclusive, but you have like Tory Gaines out here getting in there.
Nah, because sports is so mainstream. So yeah, FSU AD could definitely get into that white linen party.
To be clear, I don't think there's anything there in terms of Stan Wilcox. I think that's a funny coincidence. But look, I think Stan Wilcox sucks, to be clear. But I've refined my thoughts on the Mason Smith situation a little bit. It was something that I felt like the other day when we were talking about it, I was on the edge of getting there, but I finally laid out where the rub is, okay? If you are one of the people justifying Mason Smith's suspension because rules are rules, and technically, when the event took place, it was against the rules. I understand that. You are correct. But here's when I say things like, but this entire ordeal is representative of how the NCAA finds themselves where they are, where nobody believes in them and thinks and they don't have any power and they're feckless and all these things. The reason why I say that is because here's the problem that I finally figured out. If you are a stickler for the rules, you have to be consistent, right? If you want people to respect that strict dedication to the rules, you not only have to be consistent in the dedication, but you have to be consistent in the enforcement, okay? So when it breaks down is when you can clearly see, when the layman can clearly see that's not the case. And so that goes back to what we were talking about, where Reggie Bush has a Heisman taken away after hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of investigations over the course of 4 years to do that. And then you got Johnny Manziel in a Netflix documentary saying, yeah, I made hundreds of thousands of dollars doing sign-ins in college. But his Heisman was not taken away. And I don't want it to be taken away again. But the point there is, like when you spend all those years going after Reggie Bush as Alabama, LSU, Georgia, every team in the country is finding ways to drop bags, to hook up players with impermissible minutes, things that go on every single day. It goes back to what we talked about with basketball. When you randomly want to get a couple of assistants in trouble, when it is very clearly known the shoe deals that go on, the AAU economy. Like, you can't be a stickler for the rules and have people respect you or believe in you or grant you power if you don't consistently stick to them and if you cannot consistently enforce them. And it is that inconsistency that now leads the NCAA to being where it's at, which is dying, feckless, and a football league that is just completely spun out of their control. And like I said the other day, I still like this part of the analogy, like the old rotted zombie, you know, that can't walk anymore, that's just been laying around against a tree stump for years. This is kind of their last bite as the heroes walk by the tree and the zombie rolls out from underneath the leaves and bites your ankle. And you're like, what the hell, man? I made it through all the cannibalism. I made it through all this stuff, and now I just get bit on the ankle by this stupid-ass dead zombie that doesn't even have legs anymore. That's the NCAA at this point. And again, like, I just wish that that there was a world where somebody would be the logical, kind of clear-headed adults in the room and be like, you know what? Losing an entire year to injury equates to a game suspension. Or maybe even losing an entire year for injury, maybe he should be allowed to choose what game he missed. And I think it's especially at odds when you look at college football, which every single recent action we've seen from college football as a whole is it's all about television money. This LSU-FSU game is going to do numbers. Numbers. In what world does it make sense to take one of the top 4 best players on the field out of the game for something this arbitrary and dumb? So once again, the NCAA's actions at odds with everything else going on in college football. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But again, that would be my explanation to the hardcore it was against the rules people. Is I understand that, but it's the lack of consistency that makes me not respect that. And it's the lack of consistency that makes me rail against it. And I think that's the disconnect for almost anybody who listens to this. Also, I don't think a lot of us ever really cared about college players being paid, you know? I'm sure some did, but what we're learning, at least nowadays, is that many more did not. So it is what it is, though. I mean, again, this is probably the last that we're going to mention of it because there's no point. And I mean, of the team, you got to move on. There's no point in wallowing in self-pity. Suck it up. Keep it moving. Find a way to win the game because the bottom line is you have to. You don't have a choice. The game's not getting moved because Mason Smith isn't playing. Nobody's going to feel bad for you. When it comes to playoff time, if you're in the season 10-2, nobody's going to say, oh, but they didn't have Mason Smith for game 1, so we should put him in the playoff. That ain't going to happen. Nobody's going to say, that Florida State win was kind of tainted because Mason Smith didn't play. Ain't going to happen, okay? So overcome it, adapt, find a way to get it done. Harold Perkins, Mekhi Wingo, secondary that's got to step up. Jaden Daniels trying to outduel Jordan Travis. Those wide receivers trying to finally prove that they're worthy of the reputation they've garnered over the last couple of years. Go prove it on the field, because that's the great part about football. At the end of the day, it's one of the few areas in life that remains a meritocracy. No opinion, no bias, no BS, okay? Like Brent Venables, you're mad because people talk crap about you, don't go 6-7. Steve Sarkisian, you're mad because people talk crap about you, win 10 games. LSU, you're mad because Mason Smith got suspended. Guess what? Overcome it, win the game, and everybody will celebrate you. Okay? You control your own destiny. What are you going to do? We'll see. All right. When we get back, let's close out hour number 1. We've got some massive college football news, and then we'll start to shift to the NFL a bit in hour 2. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, y'all, I want to tell you about Community Steel Company. Community Steel Company is in Gonzales, Louisiana. They got a 15,000 square foot warehouse right now. They got a ton more opening on the way as well. It is truly amazing what they're doing over there. And you're like, okay, how are they growing so fast? How are they having so much success? A few different reasons. First off, they are local, right? And they have the fab shop to make all your beams, purlins, tubing, everything that you need is right there on the lot. You buy it. They also have the best prices. But maybe the best thing about them, it's the community. It's the atmosphere. It's the local nature of the business. A live boots on the ground sales team that can handle all of your needs. Actual human beings who live here. You go hang out with. See, they actually have these model like steel buildings built on their grounds, so you can walk through them and then just go buy the buildings. Okay, Community Steel, call 225-647-2020. That's 647-2020.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good looking neighborhood.
It's Join me for a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show presented by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to talk a lot about the Vanderbilt game, but we'll find something to talk about, hoping nobody got suspended. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Closing on hour number 1. Seth Rushing asked a very good question and the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, youtube.com/1045 ESPN. He says, if the NCAA doesn't have any power, then why don't they play Mason then? And it's a fair question. And it's maybe the one thing that LSU fans would have liked to see in all of this is because you read that Mason fully cooperated with the investigation, and we have learned time and time again, full cooperation with the NCAA gets you nothing. In fact, the vast majority of the time, it gets you punished more than you would be if you fought it. It's because it's almost impossible to prove the things that they're always trying to prove. That said, this one actually doesn't seem that hard to prove, unfortunately, right? And so it probably has a strong case. But I think I would guess this because I don't have any great I don't have any great insight, or at least not from talking to the people involved as to why LSU would not have challenged the NCAA. My read on the situation is this: NCAA still has just enough power to kind of make your life annoying, to make your life a bit complicated. LSU's obviously had some very recent run-ins with the NCAA, be it the Will Wade saga, and then you have the ultimate shame of the Our Lady for the Lake scandal. I mean, something that nobody's going to let you live down, right, where you're taking money out of a children's hospital fund and funneling it to players in one way or another. The thing is, that all happened not on Scott Woodward's tenure, right? So as you look for new beginnings, this comes up. Woodward has an interesting kind of decision to make, doesn't he? Do I fight this, right? Do I fight this and do I dredge up maybe some of the feelings of these enforcement officials would have, do I dredge up some of the bad feelings they would have garnered during the Will Wade process, during the Our Lady Lake process, or you take it on the chin, you swallow it, and you keep it moving? And I'm not entirely sure about this, but Keishawn Boutte, at the time, I am guessing, too, that when LSU accepted this penalty, I think it would have been probably before the season started last year, but this is all estimation, so don't report this as fact. But I could see the timing of it working out to where they accept this penalty. The original idea was, but you can suspend, you can miss your game of your choosing, which they ended up doing with Keishawn. But given that Mason Smith was hurt, then he could not. And then, okay, it's been a season. We just have to go ahead and serve the game whenever you can. Maybe that's how it played out. Maybe the ruling came down in the middle of the season and Keishawn was out the next week and Mason would have been, but he's already hurt. But either way, I guess my read on why not challenge the NCAA is probably because relative to the punishment, it's kind of behooves Woodward and the LSU administration to just keep it moving, eat the punch, and then you're clean slate and, the NCAA's gone. They're not looking into things. They're not hanging around the program. They're gone. It's something Michigan's going through right now as they try to make peace with their own NCAA violations, which, again, are ridiculous. It's like a text to a recruit during a period that's not allowed and a coach watching a practice during the summer. It's, again, so dumb if you can't enforce it consistently and apply it consistently. Let's get to the massive news in college football. And in fact, I probably should have led the show here. Brent Huff says, just got here. Where's Jake? He'll be in about 10 minutes. Jake getting here at 8. He's helping drive the kids to school. Tyler Malone also says, thinking about my take from yesterday, maybe BK and Sav knew he wasn't going to be quite ready for week 1, health and fitness wise, but they can't come out and say that. Nah, I don't buy that. Everything they've done is to try to get him ready for the football season. And I think they would have known about this for a while. I don't think the suspension is taking them by surprise. They just chose to announce it finally, right? So I don't know if I buy that.
No, in the report that came out, it said LSU knew early summer about.
Okay,
this.
so they learned early. See, then that's weird. So how did you know about Kayshawn though? But then you didn't. Maybe like the ruling that it had to be FSU came down early summer instead of being able to choose the game.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like the Mason Smith suspension. LSU
No, I know, but
found
what
out.
I'm saying is him and Kayshawn got in trouble for the same thing.
Oh,
so
yeah,
they
I
had
don't
to
know.
know already from last year that a suspension
Yeah, the Florida
was
State game
coming.
may have been-
But maybe that was the piece that they learned early summer was it was going to have to be FSU. The biggest news to hit college football of the day, Big and Rich will no longer be singing the intro to College Football Game Day. I know. Let it sink in. No more coming to your city for College Game Day. What do you think they're going to replace with?
Probably something really different, like a completely different
You think
theme.
really different?
Yeah.
Ooh, really?
Like
I
not
do
go
too.
with like the country southern theme, probably something, I don't know, very different.
I mean, so you think they abandoned the country southern?
Yes.
I
What?
agree. I think it's going to
The
be
time
more,
when they've gone all in on the SEC?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more.
They have the rights for the games, no matter what. It's their product now. That's kind of my whole
No,
reasoning.
I know, but what I'm saying is it behooves ESPN as much as they're going to be like, we need to talk about we're going to talk about everything. Don't worry. Like they're going to put their thumb on the scale behind the scenes for SEC teams and SEC talk because it drives up their value of their product.
I just think it's going to be something more like nationwide, like a pop, a hip hop, something like that. Because like
Taylor Swift?
Maybe because
Please
they're,
God.
they're
Right
still
now.
doing
Please
game
God,
day
no.
nationwide. Is
So
my thing.
hot
Like,
right
they
now.
may-
Yeah, for sure. I'm not, guys, again, I'm not saying they're going to be as blatant as be like, we're going to Kentucky, Florida this weekend. Like, no, like that's not happening.
Yeah.
But it's, like I said, it behooves it. All right. Hour 1 in the books. Hour 2 next. There's Jake coming up.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
You lift it? Duh. You can take the boy out of Broadmoor. Can't take the Broadmoor out the boy. Where'd you get it done?
Alpha Customs.
What else did they do?
Put new rims on it.
What else did you get?
Tires.
Is that all?
No.
What else did they do?
Tinted the windows.
Where are they?
Caroline Highway in Prairieville and Lafayette.
Are they online?
Of course.
What's that web address?
alphacustoms.net.
Insurance companies often discourage people from getting an attorney. If I can't get you more, even after our fee, then you owe us nothing, not even our costs. I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 21 12670. Offices in Baton Rouge.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8 a.m. on Friday, August 25th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 102. Coming up on OTB, Ross Jackson joins the show at 8:30 to talk Saints. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome in hour number 2 of OTB, and we got the full squad back together. Jake Hester back in the house. The man drove to Gulf Shores to watch PR-17 and his team do battle like a good friend, and then drove all the way back and brought the kids to school in the morning and made it to the show. What's up, man? How you feeling?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing? How's everybody? The Dolphins got the better of the Cardinal, but it was fun. It was very fun. So my brother-in-law played for Gulf Shores. He lives in Pensacola. He met me at the game. We got a chance to catch up with Philip and former LSU Tiger Steven Rivers, who's also coaching. So it was good. It was good. I think they're a second-year program, and Gulf Shores is a massive school. It's an independent school district, so the Jimmies and Joes were a little bit different, but it was fun.
Sounds like you're making a lot of excuses for your boy, dude. PR-17, maybe just not a good football coach, dude. People are talking, dude.
Yeah, you'll definitely turn on the tape, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Philip's actual son, Gunner, is a freshman, a true freshman. He's a starting quarterback, so it's kind of fun to see that dynamic as well. And look, Gulf Shores has got some Jimmies and Joes. They got a couple of guys committed, but it was fun to watch because Gulf Shores, like, their team would. Mark Hudspeth's the head coach. Remember him from UL
That's
Lafayette?
actually crazy. He had real juice at UL back in the day.
Coach Hud was on fire
when the oil money was rolling in. Then oil went down, UL went down, and Huddy went down.
They've got like their defensive coordinator used to be a D coordinator at Auburn. Paul Rhodes was their defensive coordinator last year. He's back in college football. And Paul Rhodes was the head coach at Iowa State at one time.
What?
And so they're an independent school district. They've got like all these funds now that funnel into Gulf Shores and kind of give you an idea of where that program is. But I think Philip and them, like I said, second-year program. But like Gulf Shores celebrated everything, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And the Gulf Shores kids were trying to chirp at Philip like he was playing, and he did a much better job than I would. I was like, I'm about to go out there and fight number 20.
Oh,
I'm about to go out there right now. But it was good to see, like, his team, like, it didn't matter the score. They made a play, and this is going to sound like so, of course. They celebrated as a team, and I haven't seen that in a long time. Like, they didn't taunt the other team. It wasn't like show up the other team. It was like genuine old school, like, go celebrate with your team. So, yeah, they lost the game, but it was fun to see that aspect of it.
Whatever, nerd.
Well, no, that's good. You
like
said they're a
JoJo.
second-year program, right?
Yes.
Like, that's good. Like, a lot of them probably hadn't even played ball before.
I want what JoJo LaFell told me his high school used to do back in the day, where you had to get a celebration penalty after you scored a touchdown. These dudes didn't even practice normal extra points. And they might have gone for 2 every time. I can't remember the exact details, Jake, but JoJo told me that back in the day, that their coach literally told them they had to celebrate to the point of penalty after a touchdown, and they would just, deal with it. Swag levels out of control.
That makes sense because when JoJo got to LSU, his first 2 years was not the JoJo that left LSU his junior and senior year. So that makes a lot of sense. Like, he is one of the best humans, but when he got here, there was some challenges with JoJo and a lot of people on the team. So it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
What, like a 10-year NFL vet, it feels like?
Oh,
almost?
I feel like at least.
Yeah. Shout out Brandon LaFell, one of the great all-time LSU receivers that probably doesn't get enough run.
He's got a son, by the way, that is a stud athlete in like every sport.
Wait, so does Philip's son throw it like his daddy?
No, he doesn't.
Style-wise?
Yeah, because Steven kind of threw it a little bit like that as well.
Yeah.
He does not. He can spin it, but it is not the kind of sidearm push release that Philip had.
Jake, we were going to go to NFL here for a bit, but before we get there, remember how we said we wanted to look up some stuff on Florida State, and we're going to cross-reference and see what people think about them. Steele had them, like second in the ACC, basically, with all the position groups.
Yeah.
Well, I dove into Pro Football Focus today, and our boys at PFF are ridiculously high on Florida State. They got Travis winning the Heisman. They got Verse winning the Nagurski. They got Norvell winning Coach of the Year.
Right.
They got Florida State go to the playoff. They have Trey Benson as the top NFL prospect running back in the entire draft. Top 5 running back in the country. Here, how about this? Trey Benson last year, he had a 0.51 missed tackles forced per attempt, which whatever, that number means nothing without the second part. That's the highest average PFF's recorded in 10 years. So Benson was pretty damn good. Now, only had like 100-some carries, right? So not has to do with like Blake Corum did, but still, whatever. The point is, they got a top 5 back in the country. It has their wide receiver core ranked as 5th. It has their O-line ranked at 10th. It has their D-line ranked as 5th. And it has their secondary ranked as 9th. Outside of secondary, LSU's right there in the top 10 with them. And every like, okay, so O-line, LSU's 8th, Florida State 10th. Right. Wide receivers, Florida State 5th, LSU 8th. Running backs are not there with them. Secondary, D-line, Florida State 5th, LSU 6th. Secondary, FSU 9th, LSU obviously nowhere to be found. Again, I'm not trying to make anybody scared, but just realize that if you beat this team, what an accomplishment it is, and recognize that you're going into a fight, and it's not going to be easy.
The running back portion of it doesn't really affect me. LSU is going to be a by committee, and we all know LSU's running backs are highly undervalued. That's just the way it is. Josh Williams could go out there and run for 1,700 yards, and people would still talk about him being a walk-on. That's just kind of the way it is. So that part of it doesn't really affect me. I disagree on the offensive line part. The defensive line is probably about right because you still have questions about edge rusher for LSU. And for Florida State, that's their best player.
LSU's O-line was higher than Florida State's O-line, for whatever that's worth.
Right. I think LSU's O-line should be higher.
Yeah, than 8th.
Even higher than 8th. And so, yeah, we could go back and forth there. DB, you're not going to find LSU. There's too many question marks there. So I agree with that. I disagree with Florida State having a better receiver room right now. You're assuming that a player coming from Michigan State is going to integrate himself into that offense and it's going to work. Now, it might. And then game 2, we're talking about, okay, well, yeah, tip your cap to him. But there's still question marks there. I really like LSU's receiver room. I think you have 4 guys
He's got to prove it.
That are all different that can absolutely go.
I just think they got to prove it.
And we disagreed yesterday because I think Brian Thomas has proven exactly what he is. I think Malik Neighbors has proven what he is. Certainly. Now, to your point, Aaron Anderson's got to prove it, And then Kyron Lacey needs to go up a couple of notches.
But no, I need more from Thomas too. I mean, I know their numbers are going to hurt somewhat because Daniels runs, but like LSU in 2019, that's a top receiver room in the entire country.
That's the top receiver room in college football history.
I know. But what I'm saying is, like, I need those 400 yards to turn into 7-8.
Well, you're just not going to get that with the style of offense. Like, Joe's never going to run like Jaden does. And then you're splitting so many carries amongst running backs. I think for me, when I look at Brian Thomas, I look at his efficiency rating and knowing that he had 5 touchdowns and knowing like what he is, like in the kind of receiver he is and what they're looking for him to do. I think Kyron Lacey's the one that needs to go from, what we say yesterday, like 280. He needs to go to 500 yards. Like that needs to be a jump that he makes. So I agree, like you're looking for a jump, but I think Brian Thomas is kind of like, hey, here's who you are within our offense. You're going to be, we talked about it yesterday, the red area guy. You're going to be the jump ball guy. You're going to be the guy that makes the big plays over the middle, the tough catches. But Kyron Lacey, he's got to be consistent. He can't have the Texas A&M game again this year. Like they're counting on him because he's probably the number 2 receiver just because Brian Thomas gives you kind of a specialty type role at receiver.
The only other interesting notes that really kind of blew my mind, well, the Jared Verse stuff's pretty good too. He was second among Power 5 edge defenders last year with a 22.4% pass rush win rate. So, and that was in his first season. I realized he transferred from Albany.
Oh, yeah.
So,
oh gosh, you don't remember you were probably at Don Juan's. The broadcast last year, if they said it once, they said it 100 times.
I think I was just busy losing my mind because this Florida State team that I thought sucked actually ended up being really good, and it was just like blowing me away. But with Jordan Travis, according to PFF last year, only Caleb Williams graded higher out of every quarterback in the entire country, and Jordan Travis was the only quarterback who plays top 15 in both big-time throw rate and turnover-worthy play rate. And the thing that I think is interesting there is I believe Jaden Daniels is poised to take a massive jump. And granted, if you have a better year, it's harder to take a big jump. But, like, Jordan Travis has kind of all the same advantages in terms of improving over the offseason that Jaden Daniels has, only he had a better year originally last year as well. So I find that to be a bit, just some food for thought, man. Again, this just recognize you are going against a real, this is easily, probably even, like, I'd have to go back. Maybe I'm being prisoner of the moment. This feels better even than that top 5 Oregon team that you opened up the year with in 2011.
You would know way better than I. You were here. You were in that moment.
Yeah, but I wasn't on the media side, right? So I don't know, like, I wasn't looking up, like, where does Oregon rank in this stat and this stat? Like, I was just, like, watching film and looking like, these guys look soft.
Yeah, I was trying to get ready for the Steelers.
It was just like, you'd watch them on film and be like, wait, this is the D-line that they're hyping up?
Yeah.
I don't think you can play that game with Florida State.
So the best defense that Jordan Travis played last year was the game that he struggled the most in. NC State had a defense. Remember, we talked about him. I certainly did. Probably too much of who they had coming back last year. He was 15 to 30, 181, 50 obviously percent completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and then he came back against Clemson. Didn't throw the ball as far as like completion percentage great, but he did throw for 254, 2 touchdowns still in a loss in that game. So he doesn't really have a ton that you can point to say, yeah, he didn't play great here. Now, against Florida, he was not great, but Florida was a bad football team, and so they got the 45-38 victory there. But he didn't really have a game where he just completely fell off the cliff. Against UL, he didn't play a ton, so he was 9 of 14 for 112.
He was very efficient. He's not got a ton of he's explosive in his efficiency.
The perfect example of that, after the LSU game, they beat Louisville 35-31. He was 13 of 17 for 157, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Yeah. So it feels like he wasn't asked to do a whole lot.
Well, and also Jordan Travis, the last 6 games, something clicked. Versus, obviously they were 3-3.
Well, the Florida game that I talked about is in that last 6 games.
I'm not saying you can't have.
The UL game. He wasn't asked to do a lot.
He had the highest QBR in the country over the last 6 games.
Only threw 12 passes against Miami. 10 of 12. To your point, for 3 touchdowns. So 3 of his 10 passes were touchdowns.
Yeah.
They won that game 45-3. So Georgia Tech, Miami, Syracuse, UL, Florida down the stretch. And so the stretch where they had, I'll tell you this, they played 3 ranked teams last year. They lost all 3 of them. So, it's a weird resume. Because LSU wasn't ranked when they played them, correct? If I'm not mistaken, LSU was not ranked at the time, or if they were.
That's probably correct.
Because I'm looking at it right now, it doesn't have a number next to their name. And when they played Wake, who was 22nd, NC State, who was 14, Clemson, who was 4. That was the 3 losses that they had. They played a bad Oklahoma team in the bowl game and won 35-32. Now, he was great that day, 418 and 2 touchdowns. So it is a weird resume. I think you still respect the resume, to your point, but when we give you the Pro Football Focus numbers and grades and all that, just realize that the schedule, it is what it was, and when you played a ranked team, you lost.
I hope you're right. Man. Because on paper, this team looks really, really damn good for Florida State. Really complete.
I still went on about as much of a rant as you'll hear me go on. Clemson's still the class of the ACC. I think Florida State still has to go out there and they have to prove it. Now, beating LSU week number 1 will certainly help them towards that goal, but they haven't won anything. They haven't won an ACC title. They haven't won their division in the ACC. And so they still got a ways to go. They still have to take those next steps to be able to go out there and be the program that a lot of people think they can be. It just doesn't happen overnight. Even 2019 LSU, we forget about it because 19 was so great. Your stepping stone was 18 Fiesta Bowl. You still have to kind of take those steps. I don't know that Florida State has taken.
You almost lost to a bad Texas team.
Yeah,
right.
Second game of the year.
You can get I guess the point is, like I'm saying, you don't. No, nobody even have to. Well, maybe we thought Texas was good at the time, so maybe people did start to give LSU the benefit of the doubt, and they did gain confidence. But looking back at the end of the year, you see how close the Texas game is. You would actually be like, wow, that's shocking, considering where that 2019 team ended up for LSU and where it ended up for Texas. Ethan Guidry, T-Bob's never sounded so scared. Sad day. Again, it's not about fear. It's about acknowledging what you're going up against. And I did find it pretty shocking, right? Because we tend to like PFF and look at that stuff. And so when you see a respected analytical hive mind this high on your opponent, you have to give credence to that. But like we said, it's the classic paradox of college football, or really life in general, Jake, which is a lot of times with great risk also comes great opportunity. Because if you do go win that game, well, then all of a sudden your team starts to believe in itself that you are national championship good. If you do go handle Florida State, then the analysts start believing that, okay, no, this is for real. And then can they beat Georgia? These are the conversations that start. So no, you're putting, the die has been cast. You're putting it all on the line, and if you fail, the consequences will be great. But in the same breath, if you win, the rewards will potentially be even greater.
Florida State had a ton of players who could have been Sunday players. Now, I don't know where they would have been drafted. Maybe that's why they came back, so they could improve their draft stock. But they did have a lot of Sunday players that decided to come back.
Yeah, Jared Verse could have been a top 20 pick, and he came back.
Jordan Travis would have been selected. Now, I don't know where Jordan Travis would have been selected, but he would have been a draft pick, and I would guess in the top 3 rounds. It'd be hard for me to find him not going in the top 3 rounds last year. They've got receivers that would have gone. They've got backs that would have gone. They came back for a purpose. They came back for a reason. And when you have a team like that, and NIL, I realize what that is, and so you can come back now. And there's a couple of players we talked about with LSU that you wish would have come back that didn't get drafted that could really help this team, but they had players come back for this reason, this purpose. What are you doing? They feel like they have a team that can go out there and play at a championship level. And so, it is a very veteran team. It's a good team. It is a team that has a chance to be great. They're not great just yet.
No, that is true. But that greatness for both teams really put on the line here in week 1. Because like we said, the loser will not make the playoff. You can still have a really good year, but just odds are, 99% odds are the loser of this game will not make the playoffs.
I would say 99% for LSU, 75% for Florida State.
See, but to me,
they can avoid this a little bit more because you get Clemson week 4, and if you beat Clemson twice, you get a rematch and you beat them again, and you only have 1 loss, you're in.
Yeah, so they can,
and it's an easier path.
But if they lose to LSU, I'm saying that I don't think they're capable of running that table.
Yeah, it'd be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, that's all I mean with that. Meals and Mekhi Gardner on this defense would be so nasty. Yeah. I know, bro. That's always disappointing when you see that. All right, so sorry, I know there was kind of a rehashing of the first segment, but I wanted to filter it through Jake's lens and get his take on it. Coming up next, we can continue to get your comments to the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, and we can get into some Saints-Texans talk. Just more football, man. We're going to be talking football all show today. Coming out, OTB, 104.5 ESPN.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go to All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. The website's a great place to start. You can actually order or finish. I mean, you can order your vehicles straight off of the website if you want. You can customize in whatever ways you want. You can explore the incredible deals they got going on. Remember, for military members, vets, and recent graduates, All-Star Toyota always has excellent deals going on year-round. So find your next Toyota over there. And look, maybe it's a new vehicle. Maybe it's a Toyota certified lease where you still get that warranty coverage. Maybe it's just a rental for a vacation or something. The bottom line, they have the best selection, the best people, the best vehicles, All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.
Yeah, go to their website today and customize your new vehicle. You can do that right there on the site. You can do whatever you want. You can add, you can take away, however you want your vehicle to look at the end. You can do it right there on the homepage of the website. So go check that out. Check out the per-day rental prices as well. All that can be found at allstartoyota of BatonRouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Scoocha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco, voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine. Government.
It's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for a Football Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Getting you ready for Week 0 in college football, and the right radio hours return 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
I'm going to have to explore that off air.
Yeah, this is off air conversation.
Wow. You just really threw me for a loop. Jake, we had a question for you in the chat from the Pirate, our resident Mississippi State fan. Jacob, honest question. Why is Mississippi State picked last every year by the media, but they never finish last? Last 13 years, they are 6th in SEC wins. So the play on the field doesn't matter?
It's a fair question. I think it's a good question.
See you rolling your eyes, Marv, but again, it is fair.
Very fair question.
It is fair. It's not to say that, look, 6 is not great for LSU. I understand that. But Mississippi State, that is better than what people give them credit for and how they think of them.
Okay.
That's all the Pirates' point is.
Yeah, I certainly think that there's, and not even a bias to be like, I'm going to choose against them, but I think a bias as far as you think you know what the program is, and you're like, 7th. They got too much. They can't overcome that. I don't know why. I think there's a couple of programs. I think Kentucky for a long time fought that for a long time until they finally beat Florida. 30 straight years or whatever it was, 31 straight years. And like Mississippi State doesn't have, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but Kentucky had to kind of fight that for a long time as well. And they just started to kind of get away from that. I'm not sure why Mississippi State gets that. I don't have them 7th. I think I'd put them 4th in the West on my media day. I'd have to go back and check if you can. Let me know if you can. I think I put them 4th on my media day in the West. They finished 3rd last year. I'd probably have them 3rd this year. I got a couple. I just need to see what Will Rogers and this offense looks like. I know that they're going to have some of the same principles, but it will be enough of a difference where I need to kind of see that. Returning starters on defense, it's 4, more like 6. I like the guys that you have coming back. They are, and I've said it, as veteran can be. They've played a ton of football. So I don't hate Mississippi State at all this year. I don't know that they can finish above 3rd in the West. Like even 3rd feels like a little bit of a reach, but I certainly don't have them last. I got them right there kind of in the middle at number 4.
No, on snaps, they were my surprise team out of the West that I think is going to finish way better than what people think. But, yeah, I can't push them to 3rd. You know, I still feel like with better injury luck and more experience, like A&M should be significantly better than they were last season. Or even like now Ole Miss, I mean, it sounds weird. I know a lot of people are high on Ole Miss. I'm not going to give Ole Miss a benefit of the doubt over at Mississippi State.
No, last year was it was pitiful is almost the word to use, how they finished down the stretch. They were 7-0 and ended with 8 wins.
Yeah.
Like and now you had
they just
Lane to Auburn. Yeah, but you laid down. You just laid down and like, okay, Arkansas beat the hell out of Ole Miss.
This is kind of interesting. The Pirates saying Mississippi State has an overall winning record. This is over the last 10 years. Overall winning record against A&M, Ole Miss, Arkansas, and tied with Auburn. So there you go. You know,
I would believe that to be factual. And now we got to see Zach Arnett too, new head coach. I like what he did in the bowl game, beating a good Illinois team. I believe it ended up 19-10, but it was more 13.
It was 13. Yeah, it should have been 13.
Yeah, the play at the end there, but it's still a good win against a good Illinois team. So 1 game sample size, okay, but new coach, first time again. So you got to see kind of how that plays out. A lot of new in Starkville. So
a lot of new everywhere around the SEC.
It is. It is.
Kind of one of the biggest advantages for LSU is the least amount of new is right here in Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge and Vandy, but Vandy's not going to be in the same level.
We didn't mention that. Mississippi State got Mike Wright as well. So
yeah, which is
you got to think about that. Don't you?
Which is an interesting choice for him. He's a quarterback at Vandy. T-Bob certainly knows who he is, and Taylor talked about it yesterday. But interesting for him to go there, knowing Will Rogers is absolutely going to play every snap that he's available and healthy. He lost his job at Vanderbilt too last year. So
one of my highlights for this Saturday, for tomorrow, A.J. Swan. Watch A.J. Swan ball out, baby. Show Timmy Chang what real quarterback play looks like. None of that island BS.
Vanderbilt's win total is at 3.5.
They're smashing it.
Now, you got to get some juice to get it at minus 180, but Hawaii, Alabama A&M, Sam's no longer Hartman at Wake Forest, so minus him. And so I do think that changes it. And I don't want to be disrespectful to the Demon Deacons, but He was a big reason why they've won so many games in recent years. They're on the road, but still, I like them there at UNLV. They might get it there.
Yeah, they could literally start their season 4-0.
I mean, was it Mitch Griffiths is replacing Sam Hartman? I believe that's who it is. He played during Sam's issue.
Yes.
Going against Wake Forest.
Wake Forest could be like the swing game to make them go 4-0 and go over their win total.
I mean, it really could. And they could hit the win total before they get to SEC play.
Emil says Lane will once again be flirting with leaving Oxford by early November.
You know who?
I wonder. I mean, Lane has to do good, I think, to keep that stock up.
I feel like it's more like the media wants Lane to leave Oxford, other than like other people
once
actually.
you say no to Auburn and then you finish in the way that you did, like he needs a good year at Ole Miss if he wants to keep getting
get it back up.
Like let's say Venables opens up, right, which is a very real possibility. I think if Oklahoma goes 8-4 or worse, Venables, you need to fire him. You could say whatever. I mean, I don't know if Oklahoma fans would agree, but I think that would be a disastrous failure of a record, given the context of that situation. And, like, the immediate name, when I talked about that on Snaps to them, my producer threw out there was Lane Kiffin. I'm like, I mean, I guess, maybe, but, like, not if Lane Kiffin doesn't do good at Ole Miss this year. It's just because Ole Miss looks poised to be third in the West, right? Like, if you're not an A&M believer, like, I just mean in terms of teams that a lot of people, analysts seem to be picking.
Probably,
because there's been a lot of Jackson Dart hype. You got Judkins back. Like, I mean, Lane's got to prove it this year that he still deserves to be that kind of first name up on a lot of those lists.
Yeah, I guess third in the West is kind of up in the air. I don't have Ole Miss there.
No,
but honestly,
I
don't even know. I just don't even know. It feels like there's 4 teams that it could be. I'm not as high on Arkansas. I actually have Arkansas 7th in the West, and a lot of people are high on them. You only return 10 starters, and of the 10, 6 are on defense. It was a horrendous defense.
Worst pass defense
a year ago.
Almost in history.
And that's why everybody's like, oh, look at what Petrino did to Arkansas. I'm like, yeah, anybody could have done that. I mean, his team was 65th in the FCS in total offense, and they did that to the Arkansas defense. It was bad. And then 4 returning starters. Yes, 2 are KJ Jefferson and 1 is Rocket Sanders, 2 of the best to have returning, but you only have 4 guys returning. And that was a 7-win team. I can't get there with Arkansas.
Arkansas was dead last in total yardage given up and dead last in passing yardage given up 294 yards a game through the air last year. LSU finished 4th, only 200 yards a game. See that secondary and pass rush can combine to match that once again. It's going to be critical coming up next Sunday. I looked into the Big and Rich released a video thanking college football for 16 years of being the college game day host. And then they teased guys. They said they're passing the torch to new artists with an
plural.
S.
Plural.
And then you have to watch tomorrow morning to figure out. So maybe Taylor Swift off the docket.
Yeah, she's too big time for the show.
Probably, but also like she ain't shit. If you get Taylor Swift, you're not adding anybody with Taylor Swift, right? Like if you get Taylor Swift, it's just that.
Yep.
Just
Blink-182. It has to be.
What's
They're hot right
what's the
Nickelback?
Band? No, what's the band that's very Nickelback-ish but like current?
Imagine Dragons.
Yes, them.
I mean,
it feels somebody like
Imagine
that.
Dragons.
Yes.
Yeah.
God
It
dang
feels
Well, because
like
they play a lot of like
Imagine
the
Dragons.
not like the game day song, but you see it like Jason Aldean had one. It's like the college football theme song. Like they play it on all the promo videos and stuff. I think Imagine Dragons has been on there once or twice,
For
so
sure.
it would actually kind of make sense.
Yeah,
It feels like
They
that
play
kind of
league
a
music,
band.
that League of that's because Imagine Dragons have been used in a bunch of sports before. They've been used in League of Legends. They've been used in NFL games.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind like ex-ambassadors.
Who?
If you're gonna go like kind of like that genre, ex-ambassadors. We'll play one there coming back. You'll know it.
They work for Elon. Like they're just spreading the good word of X.
They do now. They do now. They used to not, but they do now.
They've been about that X life.
Okay. So Elon's new to the game. They've been out there spreading the good word of X.
Yeah.
Should I look up some X videos?
Do you?
Not on work Wi-Fi.
Why not? I thought it was a musical group. I'm just gonna Google it. We'll just see what pops up.
Yeah.
X videos ambassadors.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's your computer. So
Don't go to a screen, Taylor.
Oh.
Yep.
That was like when I tried to Google Mariah
Is
Mills.
one of them named Big Busty Star?
I don't think the lead singer is. Maybe the pianist.
A 15-inch centaur. What is this talking about? I don't know. You're gonna have to explain X Ambassadors in the break, Jake. I don't understand what.
Although
I'm looking
it's
at right now.
the lead singer and then his blind brothers in the band as well. So kind of a cool story.
It is a cool story.
Yeah.
Well, we know what it needs to be, boys. J-Dubs, John Williams of Guts and Glory.
Yeah, that really moved the needle last year.
I know you all hate it. I hate all of you. Whatever. All right. I don't know exactly what this hour is. We're just going to continue to talk football. More OTB coming up next.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Get Gordon and get it done. Ooh, Avenged Sevenfold feels like they probably missed the window, but Avenged Sevenfold feels like they would have been certainly up there at a certain point.
Vince Fold 5. What?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I mean, don't get me started on Vince Fold. That's one of my favorite of all time.
I know it is.
I bet you Gordon McKernan. Maybe it's Gordon. Who knows? I would not be surprised at all if Gordon McKernan was the new College Game Day musical intro. And that's because the G team continues to grow. You want to get Gordon to get it done, 225-888-8888. All your favorite athletes on the G team. Go check out the content by following at Get Gordon on social media. You can also figure out how to enter the Billboard contest, ending now in less than a week, August 31st. Get your entries in. Get Gordon, get it done.
GetGordon.com is the website. There you can find all the information that you need. You can find cases they can handle for you, past client results, all there on the website. All social media at Get Gordon is the handle. That phone number, area code in Louisiana, followed by 888-8888.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good looking neighbor.
Voisin, inviting you to join me, Coach Todd Black, and Coach Jimmy Roy, as we kick off the 2023 Prep football season with a Jamboree edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard presented by Lake Urgent Care. Friday night from 10 to midnight, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Running wild and running free. Two kids, you and me. And I say, hey, 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 live it like we're renegades. Hey, 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 live it like we're renegades, renegades. Renegades.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
I could definitely see something in this speed
Yeah.
being what they do. Somebody mentioned Post Malone. I can see that.
Yeah, he's
He's
feels
everywhere.
like he's everywhere.
And also, he's not to the Taylor Swift point where, like, you could get Post and maybe a couple other people and do, like, a little combination group thing or something.
Yeah.
Gulf South, 95% chance the new song/intro will be horrible. Well, that's just needlessly negative. I mean, I don't know, dude. Yeah.
It's gonna have to grow on you after so many years with Big and Rich. At
Wait,
least for
did
me.
Mumford and Sons do the music for Ted Lasso? Is that what somebody said? I don't know. Imagine Dragons feels like maybe the odds-on
I hope it's
favorite
not.
in the clubhouse. I don't really care. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I never had really. I mean, Coming to Your Town was good. Don't get me wrong, but like Mario, I know you seemed a little deeply upset earlier when you heard that.
I mean, he
like
said,
I approached the entire
dude.
story kind of like, you know, comedically, like acting like it was a big deal when I don't think it is, but it is a big deal. To me.
You know, whatever. I know you guys are gonna scoff at me, but I'm getting a little older.
Yep.
And this is kind of like one of the last remnants of my childhood. It feels like for me, that's the theme song on my Saturdays. It has been my whole life. Like if me and my mom hear it in like July, we'll be like, oh my God, we're getting close. So
I kind of
it is
agree
sad.
with Mario, and it's not because like I'm getting older and all that, although I am. It's just that's such an iconic song, and it's known as Game Day. There's certain things I don't think you should mess with. This is kind of one of those things. Like, did they explain why they're going away from it? Like,
guys, it's been 16 years.
it's a good thing. You got a good thing going. Like, just keep rolling with it.
16 years, you can't change anything ever? Like, what are we talking
I'm
about
gonna
here?
be- Yeah, but
we're
with
entering,
so
we're
much-
entering the
I like the song.
2024 gene of college football. Literally
Exactly.
everything's going to be
With
different.
so much changing of college football, it's nice for this one thing to be the same. And
I'm going to be honest. I don't really know. I mean, I know it, I guess, but I don't really ever catch like the very beginning of game day. I really don't. I mean, I'm watching Rebecca Lowe call some soccer matches, so I'm not like I don't really ever see the
I feel
first
like they
of
come
it.
back from. Do they come back from breaks with it as well?
A lot of time. Now they open it with it, but like
Yeah. Like an
excerpt of it.
They play it more going into break when they do like the aerial
Yeah,
shot and
yeah,
then coming
true,
back in
true,
sometimes.
true,
but
true.
yeah, they play it a few times throughout. I watch a lot of college game day clearly, but yeah, they play it quite a few times throughout.
I don't think anybody had Corso outlasting the Big and Rich guys, but that's the reality we're in.
No, shout out Lee, shout out the old ball coach.
So we're gonna have
I
Pat,
guess that's-
Desmond, Kurt, Reese, and Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Could be. Somebody said Post Malone and Lainey Wilson. I could see it. You know.
Post Malone did used to sing country before he rapped.
I do feel like it's probably going to be some sort of genre mashup sort of deal. Unless they just go with the group, then maybe not. But again, guys, 16 years. Everything about college football is changing. Like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
I mean, I accept
I guess
it.
that's my point. Like
Sucks.
everything about college football is changing. Can we have one constant? Look, I like the song, and I mean the other one will probably be good.
You
as
look
well.
like you like Big.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I couldn't pick Big and Rich out of a lineup.
Well, you could because you'd see the top hat. Like one of them wears a top hat. That's
I
what I
didn't know
read.
that.
You didn't know that one of Big and Rich wears a top hat? Oh,
I
now
mean,
that
y'all know
that is
me,
the only Big and Rich song that I know.
Well, Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy.
Yeah, but
Okay, I know that
but I'm
song.
not.
Yeah.
See,
They sing
I'm
that?
not a big
What?
like.
They sing that? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Big and Rich fan. I just like the song. I think it's good for game
I don't
day.
know what it means, but yeah, they sing it. The Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy one. It's you know. It's
You don't know what that means?
No, I was trying to think of today. They're talking about like maybe like playing chicken in the pool. Or like
yeah,
piggybacking,
probably.
like you know, sometimes you piggyback with your boys
That would
and you're
actually
just
make
like
sense,
playing
yeah.
around,
Yeah.
you know, playing grab ass. Let's do a little piggyback battle.
Yeah, how many times did you hear like a coach say grab ass?
Grab ass, dude.
Hey.
Lackadaisical, farting around, grab ass, just yelling as you're brain is melting in 100-degree humidity through the helmet. Yeah, constantly.
Speaking of melting, it was hot last night watching that football game. God, it was good to just sit. I hadn't watched a high school football game, y'all, and that I wasn't covering. And
yeah,
I don't know, 20 years. I don't know that number. Whenever my brother-in-law played, and God, it was kind of cool just to sit there. You heard the band across the way, and it was hot, but it was like a good summer heat, and I wasn't having to like move around a whole lot. So maybe that's why I wasn't having to wear a helmet. Yeah. There was something cool about just good old high school football.
I had that same experience going to that Western Road baseball game.
Yeah, you did. That's right. Yeah,
it was just like a wonderful slice of Americana.
Yeah.
Except at that time, it was still a beautiful spring. I guess last night was kind of nice, though. I don't know.
It wasn't bad there in Gulf Shores.
E. Goddard says, Champ, I saw Lainey Wilson this past Friday in Orange Beach, in for Eric Church. She was pretty good. Did a song with him later in the evening. The little girls love her. Okay. The horny men seem to as well.
Can't help yourself.
Look, Lainey knows, I think, I don't think anybody's.
Go watch the Theo Vaughn episode with Lainey on it.
How's that?
Well, she explains.
She was like, look, I get it.
She explains the situation.
What'd you say? She gets it from her mama?
Yeah, actually.
I think so.
Yeah, she actually did.
There you go.
I've never watched one of his shows before, but I will now.
The Pirate Day, I saw Lainey.
You don't watch? Yeah, you never watched Theo?
No, Danny was a huge fan, but I haven't.
Theo's hilarious.
Pirate Day, I saw Lainey Wilson in concert in Starkville, Mississippi last February. She was great. Hell yeah. Maybe we're speaking this in reality. We'll see. All right. Also, I'd forgotten about this, but lost in all this. Bubba Sparks used to do the College Game Day song before Big and Rich.
Really?
Yeah, look this up. I don't know which Bubba Sparks it was, but yeah.
Sparks.
Speaking of booty, booty, booty.
Rocking everywhere.
Bubba Sparks. Maybe you get Bubba Sparks and Lainey Wilson.
Oh, wow. He did it for the 2003 LSU-UGA game.
Yeah, it was called Back in the Mud was the Bubba Sparks song.
How did that go? Okay, let's do this. Let's go to break. Let's come back with Back in the Mud so we can relive those old memories as LSU found Skylar Green in the back of the end zone after that long screen touchdown to Georgia, tied it up 10-10 to win 17-10. Let's go, Tigers. More next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
40 years installing generators in our area. You knew your Boudreaux's installed Generac home standby generator would be ready.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
And the men who never let their friends forget about us.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Taste it! Experience the new Reese's Take 5 Blizzard today. DQ, happy tastes good. Get it delivered at DQ.com. Delivery subject to availability, additional fees, and minimum order requirements.
Right now at the Home Depot, we're rolling out Labor Day savings in the Garden Center, where we have everything you need to keep your plants looking fresh through fall. Whether you're making plans for more indoor plants, building up a raised garden bed, or plotting out your own orchard. Now through August 28th, get 7.5-inch zinnia square planters on special buy for just $8.88. Do Labor Day your way at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Product varies by store. See store for details.
Charles Henniger, join us for the Friday edition of Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road. Troy Macker and Bruce Marshall with us, and we're ready for Week 0. Football is finally here. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Ain't nowhere to hide, so just line it up and run the play. Everybody wants to be a winner in December, but first we gotta separate contenders from pretenders. Not so fast, my friend, tell them Corso. Our show is so superior to your show. ESPN, the king of college pigskin, 10 years and running for a flat towards another 10 to Davis. Need a dog down to the bayou to duke it out with Lake Crew. What could be a preview of the conference title game? And there's everything to lose, occasionally country conflict, Saturday in Baton Rouge. Defense played so sick!
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Bring back Bubba. Was Bubba writing custom verses for every weekend?
That's what I was saying, because it was like the imaging was all Georgia LSU for that game, but he also mentions like Saturday in Baton Rouge, the Bulldogs, all this.
It
like,
was separating contenders from pretenders.
So he did one every week, a different one.
I say Bubba.
Bubba.
That went hard as hell. Bring back Bubba.
Now, that would be cool if they did something like that and like changed it up every week depending on who played. That would be cool.
Bring back.
That was fun to see all those players.
A time
had a David Pollock that had some fat on him.
Yep.
A little bit, a little marbling. Saw Ben Hartsock. Saw PR-17 with a visor.
Michael Clayton, Joe Adai.
Skylar Green.
Skylar all over that thing. 20 years ago that would have been now.
Chill.
20 years on the dot. 2003 to 2023. That song also had incredible like Madden 2003 vibes. Just that it just feels like it. Speaking of the NCAA video game, Caleb Williams is out here making headlines saying he's not sure if he's going to accept the $500 to have his name, image, and likeness in Madden or whatever. Again, I will reiterate, I don't know that the players have ever had less leverage when it comes to getting more money because I don't care if Caleb Williams' name is not in there. I don't care if Harold Perkins' name is not in there. I don't care if Jaden Daniels' name is not in there. Nobody cares.
Well, not only that, and I could be completely wrong on this.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong on this. Didn't they already come to an agreement with all the players? Like, this game is essentially done.
Well, I don't know if
I mean, it seems like one of those things where it's like they signed the contract, they made the game, they're unhappy with their compensation, they're going back on it. Like, can you?
No. I don't think they signed anything yet.
That's what I was wondering. I mean, I don't know.
No, I think it was just put out there that the offer is $500 to all players.
Like, I mean, the game's got to be close to being done.
Yeah,
though,
but
right?
this is not something that would be. Well, I mean, you'd be surprised. You watch the making of video games. They are like, there's a reason why massive day one patches exist, right? Because these things are still broken, like, as they're being shipped out the door, and they're basically putting out fires and plugging holes. Like, they got a long time left before.
Because it comes out in the summer, right?
Yeah.
So they got almost a year.
And plus, that's not something that I don't make video games. I don't know, but I don't imagine something that's very coding or programming heavy, right? Just changing a name, and like, so if Caleb Williams transforms into QB 13, 98 rated, who cares, right? Or like, what's Bill Belichick's coach this year? Like, Philip Gaines, I think, is who coaches the Patriots in Madden this year because he never allows his likeness to be used. Like, who cares?
I guess the craziest...
NCAA is just a one game where you really, like, Madden, it'd be awful.
Yeah, the King Griffey Jr. baseball game on Super Nintendo that only had King Griffey Jr.'s name was one of the best games of all time. I didn't care that Otis Nixon wasn't Otis Nixon. I didn't care that Ron Gant wasn't Ron Gant. I didn't care that David Justice wasn't David Justice. I just went out there and played with the Bravos.
Yeah. I played with the Marlins randomly. Still don't know
Great
why.
uniform.
So
Sluggo Steel, shut up.
Jeff Conine.
If Caleb Williams says no.
Oh, is that who you're supposed to be?
I didn't even know.
If Caleb Williams says no to his name, image, like this, like you said, he's 98 overall, he's QB 13.
Yeah,
a bunch of other players follow suit. How is this any different than the game we used to have?
No, exactly. That's my point.
But my point is, it's like, well, then why'd you shut it down in the first
Hester
place?
And T-Bob.
Patient Plus UC, Patient Plus Urgent Care. Well, we can get into that, Taylor. It's a good question. Patient Plus UC, I'm heading to Patient Plus right after. I was giving my body time to see if it could heal this ear infection. It's only getting worse. So I feel like I have like the cordyceps from Last of Us growing inside of my head. So I'm going to go to Patient Plus right after the show today. I'm going to get in, I'm going to walk in because walk-ins are always welcome. I have the digital profile. I'm going to just hit a button on my phone. I got one right by my house because everyone does. Just look it up in your Maps app. And I'm going to get better for the weekend, right? Because your boy ain't trying to have his weekend ruined by an ear infection. So when you need to get better for life's unexpected moments, you want Patient Plus Urgent Care.
Yeah, they're there for you. They're going to be a convenience for you. That's what they're all about. There's going to be a location, doesn't matter where you're at in Baton Rouge, that is close and near you. So go ahead. And also you can take full advantage of the website. You can go ahead and book that appointment online so they're ready for you. But walk-in certainly always welcome as well. PatientPlusUC.com. Get in and get better.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, you can lease a new Toyota 4Runner for $489 per month. That's right, you can get a brand new Toyota 4Runner for only $489 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m. on Friday, August 25th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 102. Coming up on OTBOT, Ross Jackson of the Locked On Saints podcast joins the show up next. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. OTBOT, live from the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go. All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Hour number 3 of OTB. And right now, it's time to talk to one of our good friends of the show, Mr. Ross Jackson of the Locked On Saints podcast. Still pulling 2-a-days for camp, getting you all the Saints coverage that you need right about on the edge of shifting into regular season coverage at Ross Jackson NOLA on Twitter. Ross, what's going on, man? How we doing today?
What's up, buddy? Good morning, man. Thanks so much for having me on. Always a pleasure to be with you guys.
Okay, so third preseason game coming up this Sunday, Ross, against the Texans. CJ Stroud going to be taking the field for Houston. What are your expectations in terms of starter playing time come Sunday?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't expect many starters for the New Orleans Saints to play, actually. It's been an interesting sort of week for them. I thought maybe we might get maybe one drive of that starting offense again. Seems like you might want to get them in rhythm once more so that it's not, the first preseason game and then all of a sudden the regular season game. But I don't know, DA kind of said some things yesterday that kind of indicated that it's really going to be a focus on the guys that are kind of fighting for roster spots, that are jostling for position, the younger guys, they want to see things like that. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that, that the Saints take a moment to get a look at maybe their starting unit, particularly over on the offensive side, for one more drive. But we might just be in for a couple of spot starters instead, guys like Trevor Penning and maybe some of the newer guys on the roster that are wanting to get some more opportunities there.
Yeah, get Pennings in there for sure. So that would be one of the guys. Otherwise, Ross, okay, so like with that in mind, who are you watching? Who and what are you watching on Sunday?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of kind of the guys that are jostling for position. So just to give a couple of names, a guy in the linebacker room that's really impressed here recently and really impressed last year when he showed up, but he impressed kind of as a special teamer, has been Ty Summers. And, look, the Saints have had a little bit of a weird offseason with linebacker. We're used to them bringing in, a bunch of different linebackers and getting a look at a bunch of different veterans and things like that. They didn't go that route this year, but they did bring in Jalen Smith. So Jalen Smith I would absolutely put on that list as well. I thought he was supremely impressive during his matchup with the Los Angeles Chargers. Not just that one pass breakup that he had going towards that outside sideline, but the run plays, his ability to kind of read instinctively, see where play flow is going, react to that, all of those things. So I'm looking at that linebacker room, and I'm curious to see if we get a look one more time at both Paulson Adebo and Alontae Taylor on the defensive side, because seeing more of those guys, especially with Marshawn Lattimore kind of managing this knee thing right now, gives the Saints a little bit more fodder, a little bit more evaluation time to figure out who's going to be the starter opposite Marshawn.
Ross, in your opinion, how many of the 53 final roster is set, and who's fighting for those last position battle spots? Kind of, is it 3, is it 4? Kind of, what's that number for you?
Yeah. Oh, man. I think in terms of, roster spots that are set, I think it's over 40. I mean, I think you pretty much have the 22, right? Yeah. The first 22 as your starting offense, starting defense. You've got a good portion of the backups that are already set. You think about the offensive line, you have at least 2 there, because either Andrew Speed or James Hurst starts at left guard. The other one's the lock for your backup. Nick Saldiveri's not going anywhere, you know what I mean? So you see that the defensive line already looks like it's at least 2 deep at every single position, so that doubles that number. So I would say that they're pretty close to, or they're right around more than 40 players already set. And so I think that the guys that are fighting for positions, or maybe guys that are fighting to, contribute on special teams, things like that, right? Ugo Amadi, who I think you might as well just write down and marker, honestly, Ugo Amadi at this point. But, I think there's a lot of those guys that are kind of jostling for position at the moment. And then, of course, there's the top specialist battles, like the kicker and punter battles are ones that are still going on. We're still seeing these guys alternate. We saw Blake Grupe and Will Lutz both kick in the same day for the first time the other day. Will Lutz went 5 of 5. Blake Grupe went 4 of 5. And that margin of error just gets smaller and smaller and smaller as this time runs on. So those guys are still in that conversation as well.
Yeah, we talked about the other day. I can't imagine you bail on Lutz for Grupe yet, but there's maybe some juice there. Ross, to me, the logjam appears at receiver, right? I mean, Keith Kirkwood seems to have asserted himself. Jimmy Graham reportedly had a very good day yesterday. A.T. Perry still in the mix. Oh, who am I blanking on? Who's the other name that crap?
Receiver?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're still watching guys like Shaq Davis.
Yeah, Shaq Davis has been playing very well, apparently, almost daily for the last couple of weeks. How does that shake out?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because it's going to come down to how many wide receivers the Saints keep, and then how many in terms of how many opportunities are there. And the tricky part about that is that you can't just look at that and go, okay, well, they're going to keep 5 or 6 wide receivers. It's, can they keep a 6 wide receiver that's going to contribute elsewhere, or could they get away, instead of keeping that 6th receiver, could they keep an extra linebacker that can contribute elsewhere, corner that can contribute elsewhere, running back that can contribute elsewhere? So you're competing with the entire roster more than you're just competing for another wide receiver spot. And so you have to do something outside of what you do as a receiver that tells the Saints, okay, this person can contribute in a way where we don't need that number at corner. We don't need that number at linebacker. We don't need that number at running back. And so a guy like Shaq Davis, and I'll mention a guy like Jontre Kirkland as well, both of these guys are guys that have made plays on the offensive side and have shown you that they have some special teams acumen to go with it. Both of them taking gunner reps, both of them working on kick coverage. Jontre working as a kick returner alongside Alontae Taylor, as well as Ugo Amadi with Rashid Shaheed sideline for the moment. So I think that's the thing that you're watching with them. So I think the thing that puts Shaq Davis in a really good position right now is the fact that he's not only making plays as a receiver, but he's contributing on special teams as well.
Ross, what about the quarterback position? The Saints, obviously, in years past, you can keep 2 quarterbacks. You have Taysom Hill there, who can be a 3rd quarterback. You don't have to keep all 3. Do we see all 3 on the roster? I mean, Jake Haener certainly has made the plays to be up on the roster. We know Jameis being the backup there. I mean, that would probably be a surprise to most if he wasn't on the roster. So do you keep 3 quarterbacks and Taysom Hill?
Yeah, I think you do. And look, the Saints have done it before, right? They did it throughout most of last season when they had Jake Luton on the roster along with Jameis and Andy. And then they kept, and then obviously Taysom Hill was in the mix there. So it's not super out of the ordinary for New Orleans, but you're right. NFL teams usually only keep 2 quarterbacks, and they don't even have a Taysom Hill on their roster.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit of a different structure that the Saints tend to approach there. But I think it's hard to move on from Jameis Winston because not only has he played in the NFL, not only does he have experience in your system, but let's face it, he's won in your system. And so having him as a guy to be on the sideline when Derek Carr comes off the field to say, hey, here's what I saw from the defense while you were out there, that's invaluable. That's that kind of like Mark Brunell, Chase Daniel, Luke McCown type of QB2 coach on the sideline kind of a thing. Whereas Jake Haener, you're not going to be able to get him through waivers more than likely if you tried to move him over to your practice squad. And I don't think that the Saints want to risk him because that's your backup quarterback in the future right there that already speaks Derek Carr's language. So I think that you have to keep both of them on the roster unless you're completely ready to not have, to only have 2 because you're not going to get one of them to the practice squad.
Ross Jackson at Ross Jackson Nola on Twitter, host of the Locked On Saints podcast. Ross, tell everybody what you got going on at Locked On.
Oh, yeah, just keeping up with the two-a-days like you mentioned. We'll be live later on today. I'm actually pulling up to the Superdome right now as we speak for today's practice, which will be the final practice before the game. Have a live post-game show for you right after that on the Locked On Saints YouTube page. And then, of course, right back to two-a-days. I'm actually going to keep two-a-days going throughout the regular season as well. So we got a lot of stuff coming your way.
Bro,
we're doing it, man.
You are a sicko. All right. Who are you, Rush Probst? I don't know if that joke lands. That's the old two-a-days TV show. That was the head coach. I don't know. Ross, you have a great day, man.
You too, buddy. Appreciate y'all. Y'all take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Ross Jackson at Ross Jackson Nola, Locked On Saints podcast. So 2 days continue throughout the season. So if you want Saints coverage, Ross has your back, just pumping out the content. Ken Mastinich says, I've never been so uninterested in the start of a Saints season. That's not how I would phrase it. Where I am is I'm ready for the season to start because I'm with Ross. Like, I feel like at this point, the interesting preseason conversations are only for the real sickos.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody actually cares about who the 5th and 6th receivers are. Nobody actually cares about who the last 10 people to make the roster are. People do, but not the vast majority, right? Like, I want to see this team that I feel very strongly about. Like, that would be my biggest takeaway from the Saints preseason as a whole, is that coming out of it, I feel validated and even stronger than I did coming into it. Like, I really love the form of the defense. The new defensive line has been performing very well. They excite me. Yesterday, Mike Thomas had 10 catches at practice. Derek Carr did very well in the combo practice with the Chargers.
Yeah.
So, to me, what's uninteresting about the Saints right now is, okay, the rate, I got what I needed out of preseason, and now nothing's going to really move the needle for me until I get to the regular season.
Yeah, they feel like a team. So you didn't see the starters really against the Chargers because they had the joint practices, which everybody that we have on, and we agree, those are more important than a preseason game. And so you had that situation, so we didn't see them there. And then you were going to have practices with the Texans, and you weren't going to play there. Sounds like you're not going to play anyways. And so you don't really have any kind of, they passed the eye test. Or you can get excited, or maybe you can get down on a player. Like, we only had that small sample size for the Chiefs game, and now that was a long time ago. So I think that probably plays into it as well, because you haven't had a lot of excitement, because when you turn on the Chargers preseason game, neither team was playing their starters.
No.
They're not going to play him. It doesn't sound like. Maybe Houston does, because they've still got a quarterback battle.
They're going to play Stroud, so I guess that's kind of interesting from a general NFL fanship to watch.
And then you don't
Stroud.
have a lot of position battles.
No, that's what, like he said, all the starters are set. I mean, even Hurst looks set over Pete.
Yeah.
3 days in a row.
You're set at quarterback.
A healthy Pete has set second behind Hurst.
At this point, I just look forward to watching Jake Haener. He was so good the last game.
Okay, that's kind of fair.
He really built off of the first game, too.
But again, that's kind of the sicko element.
Yeah.
Only the realist of Who Dat Nation members are going to care about watching Jake Haener, the third-string quarterback.
Bold take around the room. Which player doesn't make the Saints' final roster? I'm going to go with Jameis. That's a bold take. Not saying it's going to happen, but I'm going to say that Jameis would be the bold take. Doesn't make it because
I thought you were going to say who's most important making the playoffs, and I was going to answer Jameis.
Because of Jake Haener, because now Taysom's hurt, so that throws a little bit of a wrench in that situation. But that should be a bold take. Like, if he didn't make it, I'd be surprised. But just keeping 3 quarterbacks up on the active and having a 4th that has started plenty of games in the NFL that's a tight end, it's just a lot of bodies for one position in the NFL when you can't really have that situation, even with the emergency quarterback.
But are we granting Taysom Hill quarterback roster spot? I mean, to me,
he's an emergency. No, he's up on game day, and if it hits the fan.
I know. I'm saying, but if we're like laying out the 53 position group,
yes.
you would put Taysom Hill in the tight end group, wouldn't you?
Right, but like Ross just said, a lot of teams only keep 2 without a Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
So the fact that you have a Taysom Hill, again, he started plenty of games at quarterback in the NFL. He knows the playbook. He's been in the same playbook with Pete. Hey, Derek Carr goes down. Hey, Hayner's in there. Taysom, you're up next. Hey, Hayner just went down. Taysom, you're in. Nobody else in the NFL has that situation.
Yeah.
So that's why I just say it would be
they're not putting
bold, and it would be a surprise. But
I think
we see these all the time.
I think because you now get the emergency game day quarterback, then now Taysom's Hill's of
still
days
53 though.
No, I know, but I mean, like, but the fact that you can have Hayner and Winston active and not get a penalty to the 48.
Right.
I
think
that
you used to have that and it came back.
I think though that what that means that Taysom Hill's days of ever playing quarterback are in the past.
Oh, it's an emergency deal, but I'm saying the 53, if you're like, hey, man, AK out, we got to keep Darrell Williams. Normally we wouldn't. We'd just keep 3 backs, but we got to keep Dirty. We got to get rid of a position. I wonder if you have a surplus there, you like Jake Hayner, you can't hide him on the practice squad if you would make that move. Again, it's supposed to be bold.
Yeah, no, I get what
this
you're saying.
This isn't slanted towards Jameis and anything that he's done. I'm just saying that
leader,
would be a bold move that they can make, and it's really the only one that I can kind of see outside of. I can't get there with Andrews Pete or anybody making a move there because you just don't have the depth to be able to go out there and do it.
Wait, so are you saying like guys that were on the team last year that aren't going to make it, or just like notable
what
people?
What do you think would be a bold move?
No, he's just pointing out that also like
it happens all the time.
There's a log jam at quarterback that some would dictate requires a bold move to solve.
I don't know how bold it is, but I'm going Jimmy Graham. I know he's had a really good preseason, but you got Juwan Johnson, he's your starter. Foster Moreau's making this team, and again, it's the Taysom Hill thing if you want. He's a little bit of tight end. He's making this roster, obviously. Are you going to carry 4 tight ends on your 53? I mean, Jimmy Graham's had a nice preseason, but, I mean, you know Juwan, you know Foster Moreau, and you know Taysom Hill are making this team.
Yeah, and you're not going to play yeah, exactly.
My bold name would, if you consider it bold, would be Traquan Smith. I think a lot of people have been assuming he's going to make the team, and maybe he still does. That's why I say it's bold. But a lot of the young receivers have been stepping up, and Traquan has had big games throughout his Saints career. I always tell people that whenever they, try to put him down. But I could see one of these younger receivers, maybe a Jontre Kirkland, step up and take his spot.
Yeah, what value right now can Traquan Smith give you that they can't, because he's not a teams guy?
Exactly.
That's really going to be his downfall. He's been out, and I agree, he's had moments, and he'll go out there on the edge, and he'll block and all of that, but so will Jontre Kirkland, and he'll play special teams. So it's going to be hard for him to find that roster spot, because some of the guys that are going to be on the team, like A.T. Perry's not going away. He is on the team. A.T. Perry has made this football team, and so that could be it's pretty bold. I mean, wouldn't you say? It's a 3rd-round pick. He's been there a while, so
yeah.
That could
You're saying to be cut?
Yeah. Yes.
I think they cut Derek Carr and roll with Jameis. I mean, I would. I would. 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, Mario, 5-2. I agree, dude. I'm right there with you, man.
He's a great backup.
He's a great
one of the best backups in the league.
In all honesty, I get the entire point is bold, and so you wouldn't really see them doing any of this. By definition. I'm betting my job because I don't have one, guys. It's Friday, and I don't even. I'm sorry. I just don't have it in me.
Let me. Oh man, that's disappointing. Okay, let me throw some names out there, maybe.
Okay, I mean Graham. Out of y'all's answers, I agree most with Graham. And maybe that's the least bold. So
that's what I'm saying. I don't even know if that's bold. To me, that might be likely at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
Gosh,
he did have 6 grabs yesterday.
He did.
For whatever that's worth.
It is hard to find one, though. Like, as you go around, you start to look at it. Like, Isaiah Foskey hasn't been good at all, but that's a 2nd-round guy. He's firmly on the team. And so you got to keep him. Okay, so you got to keep Foskey, Granderson, Jordan, and Turner up for game day. All right, so like those 4 guys, I don't know about that depth, and it almost feels like it's impossible to, because Peyton was a first-round pick, because Isaiah Foskey was a second-round pick. Like there's nothing that those guys behind them can do, even if they are playing better. Orgy's made a couple of really good plays in the preseason, but I don't know that he can
cut Marcus May.
No.
Oof. Keenan Allen cut his ankles in that joint practices. Oh my God!
I feel like Keenan Allen's a little underrated. Like I know he's getting older,
I think he's
but
very underrated. Yeah,
he's a top 5 at least like pure route runner in the NFL. I mean, he can play. I remember they asked it was somebody last year as a DB. It may have been like Jair Alexander or somebody. They were asking like his top 5 receivers, and he threw out Keenan Allen.
Yeah,
and whoever was interviewing him was like, it may not have been Jair, but it was a DB, and he was like, Keenan Allen.
Like, it may be Jalen Ramsey.
I think it was Jalen Ramsey.
And they were like, you're throwing Keenan Allen in there?
Yeah.
He goes, look, dude, he's hard to guard. He's a great route runner, great hands. Like, Keenan Allen is very underrated.
Yeah, what about Kel?
2 bad ones in a row.
What?
And you didn't come up with a name.
Like a last name?
Yeah.
Oh, a name. No,
either
name.
one.
Yeah,
both.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. But get it, guys. Keenan and Kel.
Yeah.
Get it? I would never cut Keenan and Kel from my Nickelodeon show list. I loved Keenan and Kel.
I should have mentioned this earlier before we went off the rails, but going back to Jameis for a second, for what it's worth, Jeff Duncan was tweeting about him yesterday, and he said his performance so far in camp has not inspired confidence. Beyond this season, his future in NOLA is uncertain.
Well, yeah, beyond this season, for sure.
Which was what Bobby told us last year, right? Was he wasn't practicing well.
I said this on Monday. Jake Haener was leading the Saints down the field. It was smooth. And then he goes out with injury. And this is a tough spot. Jameis probably thought he was done for the day, and it's very tough. I've been in there when you think you're done in the preseason, you're like, get in there, and your shoes are untied. He got in there, and it was clunky, bad. Like, like 3 plays, I think it was, and they looked like they were bad football plays. And then Haener comes right back in, and here he comes again. So like,
yeah, I know you're right. I mean, I guess we forgot about like the 50-yard touchdown to A.T. Perry game 1. Sure. Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, Jameis had good moments
Look,
too.
I'm not taking any J-Mo Dimes disrespect.
It wasn't.
This
good
isn't
last
disrespect.
game.
This is just giving you like a layout of kind of some of the things that the coaches are talking about right now.
Hey, 14 touchdowns, 3 picks a couple years ago.
Thank you, Taylor.
What were their
Focus
record?
on the stuff that matters.
What was their record?
5-2 or
Guess who else is
6-2?
Would you like to guess who else is 5-2 as a starting quarterback in the NFL?
When?
Like overall for their career?
For the Saints.
Over the Saints?
Oh, hold on. Andy Dalton.
Bridgewater.
Taysom Hill.
Oh, hell yeah.
I knew it wasn't Andy. He played way too many games.
Okay,
But Taysom Hill.
maybe it is
Taysom
Jameis.
5-2 as a starting quarterback.
Okay.
Dude, does it matter that Jameis is a good locker room guy at all? That like his teammates love him?
Gosh, I wish it did. But they have a lot of leaders in that locker room already. Derek Carr, Tyron,
Demario Davis,
Cam
Cam.
you can get some kind of compensation.
I don't like
trying to trade him. I mean,
the tenor of this
I
conversation.
just don't know, Mario.
he's got experience.
I know.
as a starter.
I know, but man, we're seeing Isaiah Simmons get a 7th-round pick. He's a first-rounder that played like every snap basically for Arizona last year.
You could get, I mean, I'm
You know,
sure you
seventh
could get
rounder.
a 7th for
Now,
Jameis.
maybe. I mean, Josh Dobbs. I think you sent a 5th round to the Browns and got Josh Dobbs and a 7th back. Yesterday.
And Winston's worth more than Josh Dobbs.
I would agree with that.
I think if you're looking for a trade for Jameis, it's going to be one of these teams that has a rookie starting quarterback. You're bringing in Jameis as a backup.
Yeah, that's the thing is like you don't have you have a veteran in Derek Carr. So yeah, I mean like if I was a coach and I had C.J. Stroud, because Davis Mills is kind of like in that in between.
Well, chill out, dude. That's JC's finals.
Okay, I can't talk about any quarterback here with T-Bob.
Dude, somewhere out there, Jameis 1 of 1 just added us to his Billy Madison kill list. He's out there putting his lipstick on.
This
and now
again,
all of our names
this
are on the
is not.
Way to go, Jake.
This
If
is
we
not,
get murdered by that psychopath, I'm gonna be pissed at you.
Yeah, well, you'll be dead.
No, you will be too. And
Yeah,
we'll be
so you
waiting
can't be
outside of
mad.
heaven, like sucking my teeth at you, like, "Bib, what's going
After,
on, bro?"
yeah, because
Come
of
on.
Jameis.
Now I'm here. Can't watch my kids grow up just because you wanted to cut Jameis.
This isn't because of like even his play. It's the luxury that the Saints have, the fact that they selected a quarterback in the 4th round who's playing well, and they have this other emergency quarterback that if he had to, he could come in. That's why this conversation is taking place.
We gotta go to break. We're 22 minutes in. It's the first segment. All right, more OTB.
We had a guest and then went another full segment.
More OTB coming up next.
OTB, OT.
Jake, who are we talking about, baby?
Are we talking about All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge?
Oh, yeah, okay. All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge. You mean the best dealership in Baton Rouge? That's right.
Yep.
Am I biased because they support the show? Arguably. But I don't get free cars or anything, right? I take my business to All-Star because I believe in the product. And it starts kind of almost at the Toyota level, honestly, where a Toyota is going to stand the test of time. We talk about it all the time. Guarantee you have a friend that rode theirs like 300,000 miles. But then that also mainly goes down to the people at All-Star Toyota, the service in every single department, the deals, the prices, the ease of use. It's the absolute best All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge.
It is the best when you're buying new, when you're leasing, and when you are renting. You can check all that out on the homepage, allstartoyotabatonrouge.com. You can customize your vehicle today. You can check out the leases and the rentals, which a full fleet is available no matter what you need. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
We're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs.
Voisin, inviting you to join me, Coach Todd Black and Coach Jimmy Roy, as we kick off the 2023 Prep football season with a Jamboree edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard presented by Lake Urgent Care. Friday night from 10 to midnight, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I had a barbecue stain on my white t-shirt. She was killing me in that mini skirt. Skipping rocks on the river by the railroad tracks. She had a suntan line and red lipstick. I worked so
All-Star
hard with
Toyota
that.
presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Anthony Smith Jr., this is what I should have said. He says bold take would be keeping Groupie over Lutz. Yeah, that was right in front of me. We even talked about it yesterday. That would be the answer for me that I should have done, but I didn't. And I don't think you should, but again, bold, you know. I wanted to talk about this before the show ends. I know it's going to give you whiplash, but shout out the LSU soccer team. Getting it done yesterday. Top 10 dub over Texas. I got a couple of videos here you could play, Taylor. There's a video, and this is an 8:45, I believe, but there's videos of the team throwing a bunch of horns down sellies, which we love to see. And then I also have highlights from the game, but a strong 2-1 start from the Tigers. Dropped their first match season 0-1 to South Florida, but beat Southern Miss, who I think is traditionally pretty good, 4-1, and then a top 10 Texas team
on the road.
3-1 on the road in Austin. Dominant, and look at the ladies here. Everybody immediately when it goes 90, throwing up the horns down. Remains the best and most fun celebration. She had 2 goals too. Whoever 13 is. Really nice job by the Tigers getting it done.
Yeah,
Shout out to the team.
We love a good, we love a good pettiness here.
I agree.
Yeah, we can be Tom Petty on this show sometimes. Which,
I enjoyed listening to the highlights where the Texas announcers are clearly pissed and think that the refs are giving LSU like all the breaks. Which, hey,
13 is Taylor Dobles. Shout
out
out.
to Taylor Dobles. I think she had 2 goals.
Yeah, the header was really nice.
Yeah.
I saw that one, yeah.
You can just play that if you want, Taylor, kind of in the background. What other stories did we lose on the way in here? Okay, we mentioned Big and Rich. Mentioned Stan Wilcox.
Yeah, I went to the Stan Wilcox Florida State AD angle.
Well, yeah, we did a little Tiger drop-ins.
Okay.
We had our resident. No, you can leave it playing. Taylor. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
we had our sleuther.
Yeah, we had our
TD
resident
sleuther.
sleuther here, and Taylor kind of giving us some reporting back from what they were talking about.
What was the sleuth? I was waiting on the report. I missed it.
So you weren't here this morning. So a guy named Stan Wilcox is the.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know Stan Wilcox is.
Well, he was at Florida State, graduate of Notre Dame. So everybody was kind of putting the pieces together.
No, you say you missed a graduate.
Look, I'll be honest. I
Notre
commented
Dame
a
hates
few
Brian
times
Kelly.
and fired everybody up as well. So I thought I had fun with it. I enjoyed it.
Okay, yeah. Mad at BK for leaving. Okay. All right. What's the appeal process there?
Of what? I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
It feels like it was so long ago, and he talked with them for so long that, that was obviously discussed.
The timing of all this is weird, though, because why is LSU saying they learned about it in the summer when obviously they knew about it last year when Keyshawn Booty's suspended? So it's like maybe they learned that it had to be the Florida State game this summer. I don't.
Right.
It's tough
Oh
to
yeah,
say.
maybe that's the portion of it that they learned this summer. Like
It's tough
actually,
to
it's got
say.
to be the first game. We let everybody else choose the game that they're suspended, but for you, it's got to be the first.
Well, it's because he was the Florida State athletic director. It's a conspiracy.
Have we ever figured out why Stephen Ridley was racing Kevin Hart? Something that started to go viral yesterday.
I think he just. I don't know where they would have been together, and you know how dudes are. We just somehow find our way to be
Kevin Hart is
competitive.
like a hardcore workout warrior.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see them maybe training at the same gym.
I know from Hilly that Ridley's really good friends with Gronk, and I think Gronk has maybe hung out with Kevin Hart before.
Okay.
Well, not only that,
that's how Gronk ended up at Fred's that one time with his
Yes.
shirt off.
Yes.
The grand scheme of things,
No, Bogies, yeah.
It was Bogies.
Kevin Hart's a big Philly guy. Stephen Ridley was in New England a long time. Like Philly and Boston are not that far apart, especially if you're into the sports world, like he mentioned with Gronk as well.
He's such a country cat, though. I can't imagine.
He
that
still
lives
lives
in New England.
He lives in Natchez.
I feel like that boy probably lives in Natchez.
I know he has.
land,
I know he has land there. I just don't know
four-wheelers and
how much.
trucks and like that. That was a country boy. Red was. He didn't even play Mississippi High School Association football.
Yeah.
He played like Independent Christian League, and I remember watching his highlight tape. And there'd be some plays where he would just not do anything; he'd just breathe because they would use him. He would just die. He would do everything the entire game. In some plays, he would just need to take a break.
He was in the long lineage of future running backs that had to play fullback at LSU because there was already a running back. Like he was one of those guys. And let me just tell you, Steven hated every second of it.
Mac Lindsay, Kevin Hart tried to say he was faster than Steven. Steven said, no way, they did a 40-yard dash, and Kevin tore his ab and is in a wheelchair.
Poor guy.
Shout out, Red.
Hey, we're washed up, but I mean that man was a professional athlete for a long time. All right.
Still nobody worse either than my boy DP, Derek Panamsky's 40.
Oh.
Tearing a hamstring and breaking a collarbone on a single 40-yard dash is just all time.
Well, didn't you want to talk about like
forgot about that one.
Bad things like that. Adam Schefter tore his knee grittying.
What?
Adam Schefter tore his knee grittying.
Okay, I vaguely remember.
It was about 2 years ago.
See, gritty's been around too long. If Adam Schefter tore his ears 2 years, it's been around too long.
2 years.
It's time for the gritty to be done. We're coming up on 5 years now of grittying. I don't know. Just me.
More legendary at LSU, the gritty or the you can't see me, both during championship seasons.
Well,
I still think the whip is underrated, given that Jeremy Hill and all those dudes were tearing up the league, and they were all doing the whip. Odell,
You can't see me was like D-Bird, Keelan,
Yeah, but they didn't win championships at LSU.
Yeah.
No, the gritty went to far bigger heights.
Well, and not only that, the gritty became popularized because of LSU.
Yes.
The you can't see me did not.
No,
so I
I've
got to go
seen that.
gritty.
Which, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. I don't follow a ton of wrestling. I get some wrestling through osmosis, but everything I'd seen out of Bray Wyatt was pretty awesome. One of the more creative minds in wrestling. And, he passed yesterday, man, at 36 years old.
Oof.
Yeah, scary. You don't like that? I don't like seeing the age. Freaks me out bad. All right, when we get back, more OTB.
OTB, OT.
Go to K2ZBlinds.com, K2Z, and it's not the number Z, it's KTOZ Blinds.com. You need custom window coverings, blind shades, partition shutters, whatever you want. Like Jake's talking about, get some shutters that or get some blinds that lower automatically to cover your outdoors so you could be cool. Whatever it is, K2ZBlinds.com has your back. They have the experience. They got free installation. Financing options are available. Go to K2ZBlinds.com.
Yeah, retractable patio shades are something you can check out. We talked about, these motorized shades. If you're outside and you want to watch some football, you got football tomorrow. It's happening right now, and you want to watch it in peace. You don't want the sun coming in. You don't want bugs coming in, but you still want to be outside. You want to have that window open feeling. Well, you can get that done, and they can come in and tell you exactly what they can do for your space. Go to the website today, K2ZBlinds.com, K2ZBlinds.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly
Join me for a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show presented by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to talk a lot about the Vanderbilt game, but we'll find something to talk about, hoping nobody got suspended. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Wrapping up last couple of segments here for the week. College football week 0 getting underway. Game 3 of the Saints preseason getting underway on Sunday. Again, kind of a weird one because it feels like everything's good to go. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I can't wait. Football's back. I'm sick of talking about it. I'm now getting to the point, though, like in a little bit of the foreplay build up to the season, you start to get like more and more hyped, but then at a certain point, you actually want to get to the big show, right? Foreplay's kind of done. I'm at that point now. I'm a little sick of it. This next week is going to be hell to get through with Florida State waiting on Sunday.
It will be a long week. Breaking down like every possible angle, not like we haven't already done that, but at least we do like tomorrow. We will have a kickoff. We'll have 2 teams playing each other, 2 teams that we recognize, and we'll have a record for one team. Maybe in the positive way for Notre Dame. Maybe they lose and it's a meltdown. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll have something to break down that is actual on the field something.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait.
USC, like, they're playing San Jose State, but what if San Jose State scores 28? You know, we'll have that to break down and be like, oh, man, here it comes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly like we laid out. Nothing to be gained for SC, only stuff to lose here. Notre Dame could go either way, right? The hype train could get started in a big way, or the panic button could get pressed. Shout out La Tech. And then, obviously, Vandy and AJ Swan going to try to make some waves coming up this weekend.
Since you're sick about talking about football,
hit me with something.
Let me just say,
I'm out of stuff to talk about, just to be honest.
The panic button would be an awesome name for a bar. Let's hit the panic button.
Oh, okay. Okay, I don't hate it, Mario. I actually kind of love it.
Let's do it.
Good job.
Thanks.
Now, Taylor, do you have anything to talk about? You got nothing?
He's out of Jameis Winston slander for the day.
Nothing happened in the Cowboys camp or anything? Taylor, you're normally just a fountain of unending takes spewing out of you like you were an active volcano, and you got nothing for me on a Friday?
Look, I understand that I'm just a wealth of knowledge, okay?
Yes.
But sometimes this brain works overtime and it needs to take a break.
You don't. So did we all just run into a wall at the exact same time?
No, look, what do you want to talk about?
I got one.
Okay, what do you got?
Did y'all talk about Brett Yormark and his comments at the Texas Tech Club?
No, we forgot
Touchdown
that.
Club?
We had it in the doc
yesterday,
yesterday,
but
we never played it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, he spoke at the Texas Tech Red Raider Club kickoff luncheon on Wednesday,
Taylor,
and he had a message for Coach Jerry Maguire about the Texas game. And if you're getting it, it's fine. If you don't, he said, Coach, I'm not going to put any pressure on you, but I'm going to be in Austin for Thanksgiving, okay? And you'd better take care of business like you did right here in Lubbock last year. That's the commissioner of the Big 12, Brett Yormark, talking about one of his teams playing another current team in his conference and saying, y'all better take care of business.
Yeah.
I know they're leaving, but that is not a great look.
I disagree. This goes back to the same thing with the.
If there's any controversy in that game,
who cares? This goes back to the NCAA with me. Like, why should Brett Yormark feel beholden to Texas? Texas tried to kill him. F him. Texas tried to kill their conference. So did Oklahoma. F him. If I was Brett Yormark, I'd be like, yeah, I hope you two lose every game.
Yeah, you can have that feeling. But again, like, you're just setting yourself up for a lot of drama if there is a close call in any of these games for Texas and Oklahoma.
I don't care in the
I didn't
slightest.
say I
They're
cared,
not a part of the Big 12.
but you know that's going to be the case.
Texas is not a part of the Big 12.
Look,
They're
I
part
am
of the
not a
SEC.
Texas fan, but part of me just thinks it would be so funny. They haven't won in 13 years, and their last year in the Big 12, they just win it and then leave the conference.
I hate Texas.
Now, I do hate Brett Yormark acknowledging this because now it feels like maybe Texas will win it because now that
That's
you're
what I'm saying. Like, what happens if they do their last year?
No, it's a huge bummer. And Yormark's very clear. He doesn't want them to. Why would he? Here's Yormark.
In addition, candidly, we were able to get Texas and Oklahoma out a year early. That was a big deal for us, and I think all of you. Okay?
Hell yeah.
And Coach, I'm not going to put any pressure on you, but I'm going to be in Austin for Thanksgiving. Okay? And you better take care of business like you did right here in Lubbock last year. In addition...
Hell yeah, dude. Hell
I mean,
yeah.
I don't hate it. I love the BDE for sure, but I'm just saying there's going to be people that if there's anything in that game, it's going to be Taylor's World, Tiger dropping,
what do you mean
or
by-
whatever their boards
matter,
are.
though.
What do you mean by close call exactly?
Like a bad
Like
call,
a bad,
like
what do you
one
mean?
that where
A
it
bad
looks
pass
like
interference.
like
a
a
bad,
Big 12, like a Big
yeah.
12 crew is gonna
Like a referee call,
screw
okay.
over Texas.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got it.
He's
Texas
gonna hit the
and,
Buffalo Wild Wings button
Yeah.
to make Texas lose.
Gotcha.
Let's say Texas has a stud safety and a receiver's running across the middle, and he gets ejected for targeting on a 50-50 call.
Yeah,
That would be a controversial one.
Yeah,
good.
Something
F
like
him.
that.
If I was Brett Yormark, I'd go the extra mile,
No, you
and I wouldn't
wouldn't.
leave a paper trail. I'd have face-to-face conversation with the refs and tell them to do that.
Okay, do we know why he was speaking at Texas Tech?
It was like a little touchdown club deal.
Yeah, he probably just makes the rounds, visiting.
It was like, does Sankey do that?
No.
I mean, I've never heard of him doing it.
No. But, Yormark.
But he's probably going across because there's so much new in the conference, probably going to all the new spots and the spots that stayed with him, I'm sure, like a little tour.
Honestly,
There's gonna be so
shout
much
out to
new.
Brett Yormark, though, because 2 years ago, we thought they were going to become the Pac-12 when Texas and Oklahoma
he's
left.
a boss right
And
now.
There's
no doubt
bringing
about it.
He lost 2 teams, but he's got a net gain of 4. He's
That's
bringing
what
in
I'm saying.
6 teams. Like, shout out to that dude.
And they're at least going to be relevant, and they'll still get Power 5 bids. Like, he does not
Well,
have
yeah, I
to
mean, they were
worry
Group of 5 schools,
about-
but they're good programs like Houston,
Yeah.
Cincinnati, UCF. Like, these are BYU. These are good
Oh,
programs.
and then you throw on top of the Arizona schools in Colorado and
Yeah.
Utah.
He does not have to.
Like, that's actually
worry
a
about
good conference.
Texas. F him. All right, when we get back, Ask the Bench, right by Cole Kurz, I visit our Tulsa Blue Moon Lions cast. It's sweet.
OTB, OT. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, live Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ESPN Baton Rouge.
But first, tears for fear.
OTB, OT, with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
What's happening, y'all? Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Coors Light. Visit our Tulsa Blue Moon Light Sky Citrus Sweet. I'm going to drink a lot of Cold Coors Light this weekend. I've got a fridge full. Ready to go. Ask the Bench, favorite dad joke. Mine is, what do pedophiles and cows have in common? Both are protein. So, interestingly here, a teenager would probably have come to sexual maturity, meaning that you're a hebophile, not a pedophile. That said, you sound like a pedophile when you explain that difference. So I fully understand that. I'm just, I'm a slave to knowledge and honesty. Ask the Bench, what's it like going up against Brandon Spikes? He was a dog. He kicked my ass. I was younger than him, but he kicked my ass.
I told him exactly where I was coming, and we picked up the first down anyway.
Ask the Bench, were you older than him?
Yeah.
Was Manti Te'o in on the fake girlfriend death story? I don't think so. I didn't watch that documentary, though. Ask Jake, how do you feel about Major Wright downplaying your performance against him? I haven't seen it. Did he do that in Swamp Kings? Taylor?
No, he did. I watched the clip. Somebody sent it to me. He didn't at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Major's a great dude, by the way. A great dude.
Good. I was about to call him Major Wrong.
Yeah.
At least on that play.
Has anyone watched the Bishop Sycamore High documentary yet? No, I do not care about the Bishop Sycamore story
I haven't watched
at
it.
all. Ask the Bench, how many invites did the OTB crew get to Lake this summer?
I got one.
You got one?
My
But you gotta
first
understand,
one, actually.
Next year, the whole crew's going to go up. It was a limited year this year, shortened season, ton of work had to be done. We didn't even get to go up that much.
Yeah. I got my first one. I was pretty excited, and I was also incredibly bummed.
Yeah. Don't worry. There's plenty more to come.
Yeah.
Ask the bench, Bilbo's tailgate before the Grambling game. Who's coming? I'm not going to be able to do any.
I'll go see Bilbo.
I don't know how many games I'm going to this year.
Ask the bench, does Anthony Richardson get benched for Gardner Minshew before the season is over?
Yes.
At some point, maybe for a game or two. I don't know.
Never.
I don't think so either. Shane knows.
Yeah, it behooves them to let him stay in and mess up and learn, I think.
What does a robot do after intercourse? Nuts and bolts.
What do a tick
That's
and the
really
Eiffel
good.
Tower have in common?
I don't know.
They're both parasites.
Okay. I like that. And more wholesome. Definitely more wholesome than nuts and bolts.
I'm afraid for the calendar. Its days are numbered.
Greg Amon says, me furiously searching for T-Bob's name on the sex offender list. Again, guys, don't. I'm not on that. I'm going to remind you to go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download it today. College football is back. If you're downloading for the first time, use the promo code Baton Rouge. You bet $5 on any college football game. You get $200 in bonus bets instantly from your friends at DraftKings. Maybe you believe in LSU. I think Matt Flynn placed one of those bets last night at the new DraftKings Sportsbook at the Queen. And I think he placed it on golf. He chose somebody to win, I don't know, like plus 1,200 odds. I heard of that this morning. Haldane, I think, chose LSU minus 2.5. That could be you. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app today. And if you're a returning customer, remember, you got all your parlays, all that stuff you love. Must be 21 or older, physically present in Louisiana. Select pairs only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER 1-426-2537.
T-Bob, how do you follow Will Smith in the snow?
I don't know.
You follow the Fresh Prince.
Okay. Admittedly, I know I'm tired because it took me too long to get there, but I loved it once I arrived. Are Major Wright and Major Applewhite brothers?
They're not. They're not.
Cousins, I think.
Yeah.
But I had Major on the SEC show back when I was on that channel, and he talked about that play. It's like I was a young player, and that taught me a couple of different things and changed my career. Like, he was very open about it.
What's the difference between a BMW and a porcupine? Rohit Calva asks.
What?
The pricks are on the inside. Oh, my God. That's good. Ask the bench, who has the most surprising showing against FSU? Let's hope it's a DB. It's a good sign if it's a DB. I'll just say that. You all have a great day. We love you. We'll be back on Monday with a brand new OTB. Everybody be safe. Have a great weekend, Law.
OTB, OT.
Go to RejuveMeMedical.com. Restore me, refuel me, rejuve me. If you need to fight the aging process, you want to feel younger, better, stronger, faster, fight mood and memory problems, insomnia problems, facial aging, all of this and more, it's all there for you at Rejuve Me. Okay, I don't care if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, male or female. Rejuve Me Medical is there for you. And, well, you know, the plans are not the same, right? So it's like one of those deals where you go in, you get that free consultation, your body becomes the guide with the information that they need to lay out the map to getting you to your goals. So go get the consultation today, RejuveMeMedical.com.
You can go to the website, like T-Bob said. There is, a number of different things, and all of us are going to have different things. We're not all going to have the same plan, but they're going to get you on your plan and your path for success and getting to feeling like your youthful self. Go to the website today, RejuveMeMedical.com.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can lease a new Toyota Camry for $489 per month. That's right, you can get a brand new Toyota Camry for only $489 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Oh, hey.